should be pretty smooth even if you're running a bit late. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by IBEW Local 22.
Does great pay, fully funded medical benefits, and a solid retirement sound good to you? IBEW has immediate openings for electricians. Invest in yourself with IBEW Local 22. Call 402-810-0789 or visit IBEW22.org today.
I'm Chris Rose with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Dak Prescott threw for 2 scores in the Cowboys' 20-point win over the Eagles. Dallas now 10-3 in first place in the NFC East. Philly also 10-3 falls into the wild card spot. Meanwhile, the Niners, who sit at 10-3 as well, are in first place in the NFC after beating the Seattle Seahawks. The Bills stunned the Chiefs 20-17 after a late Kadarius Toney touchdown was wiped off the board for offensive offsides. Kansas City has dropped 4 of its last 6. The Ravens beat the Rams 37-31 in overtime and a 76-yard Tylan Wallace punt return score. Baltimore now 10-3 and currently the 1 seed in the AFC. The Saints beat the Panthers 28-6. The Bucks topped the Falcons 29-25. Bucks, Saints, and Falcons all sit at 6-7 in the NFC South. Tampa leads the division due to tiebreakers. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-775-5622. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-775-5622. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-775-5622. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-509-2228. 888-509-2228. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, North Carolina. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment.
Hey, everybody. It's Michael Savit for Ted and Wally's 2 locations. One in Benson, of course, and the other in the old market. You know what the tough part of the holidays is? You buy stuff for people, right? Doesn't always fit. You know what always fits? Ice cream from Ted and Wally's. Whether it's a simple flavor like vanilla, which is amazing, ooey gooey cake, anything you're looking for right now with over 3,500 flavors over 35 years, you're definitely going to find the right one for you. And as like I said, nobody's going to want to bring it back. Nobody's going to worry about getting a gift receipt. They're going to love the ice cream you get from Ted and Wally's. It's because Ted and Wally's is perfect for you, whether it's gift cards or just buying it yourself. You can buy a half gallon, you can buy a gallon, you can buy a pint, and you bring it to your friends and you keep it at your house, and it is awesome. It's nostalgia at its finest. You remember when you were a kid going to Ted and Wally's in the old market? It's like that all the time. 2 locations, plenty of holiday gifts, holiday flavors. Do what you want to do. Get some ice cream at Ted and Wally's. 2 locations, one in Benson and the other in the old market, and tell them Severe sent you.
Here's a little Christmas tip. Never ask Santa for adult beverages. Seriously, can you imagine the legal implications of carrying quality, locally brewed Nebraska beer or cider while flying a sleigh? So if you want your family and friends to gift you some Nebraska brewed awesomeness, ask and ye shall receive. Your local Nebraska Brewers Guild wants you to know that local brewers are currently working on special seasonal brews to make your holiday get-togethers merry and bright. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
At Dingman's, we are working for you before you even walk through our doors. Our level of commitment to industry involvement and continuing education is second to none. Through our ongoing involvement, we stay current with all the best repair procedures for the ever-changing vehicle. This includes working with auto and paint manufacturers, as well as insurance companies. Our repair facilities are set up with the latest repair and technology. Our ongoing work is to ensure that when you do need us, we are able to provide you with the safest, best repair possible. Because at Dingman's, we would rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Dingmans.com.
Experience Omaha's first Indian restaurant and brewery. Jaipur has created delicious Indian food and brews, from the tandoori salmon to the chicken tikka makhani. Jaipur has something for every palate. 2 locations, Rockbrook and Dundee. Come see why Jaipur has been voted first place best of Omaha 18 years in a row.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
1620 The Zone.
Back to throw, looking left, looking right, pumps, runs out to the left. Throws on the run, Lamb at the 7, and strolls in. Walks all the dogs. Touchdown, Lamb. Long kick, plenty of leg. What a great call by Mike McCarthy. Just as everyone said he should do, he sends in Aubrey for a 60-yard field goal, and Dallas leads 10-0. Second and goal. Snap to Prescott, looks left. Slant, Gallup, touchdown.
It's definitely an important victory. I mean, these division games are so difficult, always have been, regardless of the year. But we understand once you get to double digits, 10 wins, 11 wins really give you a clear picture of what you need to get done. But they've been playing great ball all year. So we felt like we had the opportunity up in Philadelphia. So we needed to get this game, and more importantly, I just wanted to see us take a step as a football team.
Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy.
Yeah! Get set! Here we go!
Yes, and here we go. Good morning, everybody. Good Monday morning, boys. It's taking on a
life of its
back.
own. Welcome back to the good life.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
Is it?
It was in Lincoln yesterday.
It was last night. It was 81 degrees where I was.
Well, what was it on Thursday? Because it was 65 here on Thursday, my man.
77.
Okay. Well, you can have your
odds are it was
degrees.
Warmer there.
Fine.
Yeah, I was in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. I assume that the odds were good that you were still experiencing warmer weather, but we had a nice little Thursday here. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. People were golfing and stuff. I wasn't, but people were.
You were told to. All right. Welcome in, everybody. I'm back. It seems like I've been gone for a long time. That was a long road trip. Saw a lot of West Texas and the Gulf Coast.
Oh.
Yes.
Did you swing by Odessa Permian?
Did not, but went to Whataburger twice.
Nice.
Good for you. I made the mistake on Friday of saying, hey, I'm going to walk to the beach from the hotel in Corpus Christi. Wasn't as close as maps made it out to be. I go a long way.
So you Ubered back after.
No, I walk because there's pride. Like if you say you're going to walk somebody somewhere and you walk that far and then you realize, man, this is like 6.5 miles. And then I got to turn around and walk back through some shady neighborhoods there in Corpus Christi. No, you do it with your pride, no matter how bad your feet hurt and you're looking at your phone and it's got like 17,000 steps. No. I was good, but it seemed like I was gone for a while. But what dawned on me yesterday, so flying back from Corpus Christi with the Omaha men's basketball team, we flew through Houston. And we've flown a couple of times on Sundays after playing away on Saturdays. And it's always fascinating to me. First of all, I'm a huge people watcher. Everybody's got a story.
Oh, the airports are the
I've never met a stranger. I like to talk to people that's well documented. People that have worked with me know that for a fact, that I talk to everyone. But in airports, I always want to know like where they're going. What's their story? Why do they look this, disgruntled? or they're all like it's just terrible.
What kind of trip did they have, or what kind of trip are they about to have?
Did they happen to sit next to a guy that hadn't showered in weeks and was trying to tell you that he was part of a 1962 rock group that hung out in South LA?
Ooh.
That happened to me on the previous flight. Yeah.
Okay, then.
The guy goes, man, it sucks. I got a 2-hour drive to Sioux City after this. What are you doing? I'm like, not hanging out with you.
Yeah.
I'm going home and going to bed.
We're good.
But when you're in an airport on a Sunday and you've got a cross-section of America and people are coming and going, everybody wears their gear.
Yep.
And being in Houston, of course, saw a lot of Texan gear yesterday. We did fly over NRG Stadium, or what is it called now?
It is.
Still NRG
It's our
Stadium.
stadium.
It's owned by this company.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know, right? And we
Yeah.
never get tickets, though.
And we never get like the benefits.
No.
Yeah. CJ
Really
Stroud's
bothers me.
having a good year. We don't get a bump.
Yeah, exactly.
But it also reminds me every time how much it dwarfs the Astrodome, which they share, they're right next to each other. So we fly into Houston and subject to watching the first half of the Houston Jets game on my phone because that's the local game, and still watched even though it was scoreless and it was a punt fest. But everybody that's in the airport, it seemed like every third person is wearing NFL gear, not just Texans gear. The Bengals. There were people on our flight that were going to Dallas because they were going to the game last night, or I saw a lot of Chiefs gear. But it seemed like every single team in the Houston airport yesterday was represented, and it just reminds you, because of the Chiefs-Bills game and how much discussion there'll be today about that. The circle jerk that'll be the Cowboys, who now all of a sudden have won the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yes. I mean, I can't wait for that national discussion. But scanning Sirius,
sucking me in.
Scanning Sirius this morning, everybody's talking about the NFL. It just reminds you every single Sunday how much of a grip the NFL has on this country.
Yep.
It is all about the NFL. The shield is enormous, and we can't quit it. We watch the first half of the Jets and Texans, and we watch the first half of the Vikings and the Raiders, and we go,
or 4 quarters of that.
This isn't bad. This isn't bad. It's crazy what the NFL has done to us. I mean, I love it. It delivers every week. I don't necessarily love my team right now, but it is the thing in this country when it comes to sports. Definitely Trump's portal.
Ooh.
At least for just a little
yeah,
bit.
okay, for a day. No, you're right. Because so yesterday took Reese to Winchell's, and it was almost sort of
the donut shop.
Yeah. We're doing a little Sunday thing now.
Beer and donuts,
where that helps him sleep. Every other we'll go to Winchell's, then we'll go to Hy-Vee, then we'll go to Winchell's. Because Winchell's kind of far away from where we are, but it's worth the trip.
Well, they just have one.
Just the one.
in the center.
Yeah, 120th. If there's one closer, I'd love for.
How'd you go? How'd you go there? You got a Krispy Kreme right on the corner.
That's not even a discussion.
Whoa! Did you let your son make a decision?
No, I made it for him. This is where Daddy knows.
Did you
best.
sit at the counter?
No, we just take it home.
I do like Winchell's. It's like old school.
It is.
But there's a Krispy Kreme that's hot and ready.
I don't know.
Sign is going.
I don't know if this is a
like
hot
Kenny
take or not.
Rogers
But
chicken sign in Seinfeld.
It is very odd that you have them right next to each other. Yet every time I've gone to Winchell's, it seems like they both have their share of people there. So I don't feel like one's taken others from them. But as I'm getting ready, it was the most meaningless game for Chicago yesterday. They're playing Detroit.
Was it
at home? I know they ended up winning.
Did it save Justin Fields and Matt Eberflus?
Yes, it's made things a lot more confusing more than anything. But even without thinking, it was a Bears game day. I threw on my Bears sweatshirt. Reese put on his Bears hat. When we got to Winchell's, I noticed there was also a Bears fan because they said, "What do you think today?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. We'll see." And then I saw it would have been a Packer fan as well. And so this is and I remember traveling on Sundays, and it's funny, when you could go to in a city where you wouldn't think that maybe there's going to be a lot of hustle and bustle of all the NFL teams, but not just NFL representation of sweatshirts, but jerseys. You see a lot of jerseys around too, and it is. I mean, it's just it's that constant reminder that no matter where you're going, hell, you might be going to Mexico for a fun little vacation stuff. If you're flying out on that Sunday during football season, chances are you're still going to bring that jersey to Mexico with you or Jamaica. You're going to still do that because that's just what you do. Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. It really is. And the donuts were good, by the way, too. They're very, very good. Winchell's.
Are they still cheap?
Ooh, no.
The donuts have gone up.
Yeah. Do you want to know what a dozen costs? Now you get the baker's dozen.
I haven't bought a dozen donuts in a long time. That would be very awkward for a single person to go buy a dozen donuts for themselves.
I don't know why we do it because we have a lot left over.
Gluttony.
But it'll cost you a little over $20 for a dozen.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. You pay for quality. You pay for quality ingredients, Gary.
There's a Krispy Kreme right there on the costs $20 for a dozen.
Yeah. I don't know what they charge. I don't know what Krispy Kreme
So this is what the NFL will do. So they've got an officiating problem. It's been going on all year. They have to address it. I think they have an owners meeting maybe this week. Like officiating in the NFL is a problem, but maybe the NFL is okay with it because look at what we're going to talk about on a Monday. We're probably going to talk about the officiating.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am going to be right up front. Kadarius Toney is an idiot.
Thank you.
I figured that's where you go.
So
thank you.
This is the grip of the NFL. My Giants friends, and I was well aware of this when he was with the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And when he joined the Chiefs, I was like, And then, he had the Super Bowl, and I'm like, But it's been a bad year. And the Chiefs have a full-blown wide receiver crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And it has led to a full-blown, frustrated meltdown, bad look by my quarterback last night after the game. So Kadarius Toney, he an idiot. Okay, Kevin Durant, come on in. He an idiot. But here's what has happened since then. First of all, the Chiefs are their own worst enemy. If the Chiefs would have pulled that off, and can we talk about the Travis Kelce spiral that he threw?
Oh, that was beautiful.
That
with
was
gloves on.
Incredible.
Can you do that with gloves on?
Is we are talking, and Sean McDermott is getting crushed. And it's not just about 9/11. It is getting crushed for whatever they were trying to do in their last offensive series.
Right.
Okay. So it doesn't work out and the Chiefs lose. And I didn't like the look of Mahomes and Reed, but I think that's a frustrating. We've lost 4 of 6. Our wide receivers suck.
Yep.
It's easier to go after the refs than our own wide receiver. But here's where the NFL has a grip on us. Because if you guys followed along about the whole discussion, and isn't it interesting that last night there were 2 offside calls on offenses?
Mm-hmm. There's been 12 total this season.
On the tush push, the Eagles got called for offside.
Yep.
But I've already seen the screenshot of where the ball is and where the left guard is, and so it's. But they got an officiating problem. But I don't know that the NFL wants to fix it because it gets the discussion going. And it keeps the discussion going until we get back and we play on Thursday. But have you guys heard about the controversy that's going to be huge today surrounding the Chiefs-Bills game? There was a tweet put out by a guy by the name of Josh Cohen. So he is the main spotter for CBS. He is like one of their key guys on their main game of the week. I feel bad for him because he's got to work with Romo. Romo is annoying, and I'm done. He doesn't need to shout after every completion. They don't need to do every Chiefs game, okay?
Yeah.
Tony Romo has gotten
Don
worse
Kirky back.
because he got exposed.
Yeah.
But he's just annoying, and I have no idea what he's there for other than to make all the Swifties happy because he said, hey, there's Travis Kelce's husband or wife.
He broke the news.
Yep, the wife.
So the Chiefs were their own worst enemy yesterday. Their turnover differential is bad. Their wide receivers aren't making plays. Mahomes isn't as magical. They can't take advantage of opportunities. They're like in the clutch, they're not able to pull off things. If they would have pulled that off yesterday, great. They won. Phew. They survived. It didn't happen. They've lost 4 of 6. And I'm going, okay, I stick to my premise, what I told you guys 2 weeks ago. They're either going to be one and done or they're going to find a way to make a run to the Super Bowl. But this is where the NFL has a grip on us, and it will continue today. People talk about the Cowboys, and rightfully so. That was an impressive win last night. They're going to talk about the downfall of the Eagles and if they're a fraud, and then they should talk about my 49ers as the odds-on favorite to win the NFC. I'm sticking by it.
Yours.
So Josh Cohen, I've adopted him. Hey.
You got the Kings.
Hey,
now you got the Niners.
I'm Mr. Northern California.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's true. Yeah.
I'm unlike the
You like the beam?
And now I'm on the Niners train,
Okay.
especially with a healthy Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
But so back to the Chiefs-Bills game. At the end of the game and the offside that was called on Kadarius Toney that led to a total meltdown. Again, I didn't like the reaction of Mahomes. I don't think he needed to say something to Josh Allen. I don't know that they had seen the tape or whatever.
Right.
Or were they informed of something different? So let me read this tweet. So Josh Cohen, he is an important member of the #1 NFL broadcast crew. For what it's worth, I can confirm that Kadarius Toney looked to the sideline and pointed as he lined up. I cannot comment whether the official acknowledged or signaled him to move back. I'm saying, my idiot wide receiver, why don't you look right to see where the ball is?
Right.
Okay, I'm not.
You're closer to the ball.
And I'm not getting worked up about the call, okay? The Chiefs, there were a lot of things in that game that I didn't like. But then Tracy Wolfson quote tweets it and says, I can confirm that he can confirm this, LOL. Now, these tweets, remember, this is CBS.
Yeah.
This is the Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Those tweets have been deleted.
Ah.
The NFL has a grip on us because all of a sudden, Josh Cohen, who people are like, is that Steve Cohen's son? No, it's not. But he's an important guy of the CBS broadcast behind the scenes. They're going to talk about, what huh?
Yeah.
And it will continue now for a couple of days.
Yeah, and
it's amazing what that league has a grip on us.
And that's I know that's part of the frustration that maybe was a bit misplaced, because I'm with you on Mahomes. I think his frustration is coming from more of end of game scenarios where they have not been able to win. Where, the last 2 weeks there has been a call or a no call that has significantly impacted that drive. And I want to make that very clear, that drive. Because if we're going to talk about Toney as well, we could talk about several drop passes this season, including a pretty big one there in the first half as well, where that thing might have gone for a tutty that he drops. And I mean, it's right there. So there have been mistakes made by Toney, by Kadarius Toney, and we've seen that throughout the season. The thing that I think everybody was curious about is, and this goes all the way back to when you were learning the position in like Pop Warner, that you would look over at the official and they would let you know if you need to back up a little bit, or you can come back up. You would get that communication as you get into high school. Same thing. It was almost a.
How come D Ford didn't do that?
It's almost like an involuntary reaction. Like you just do it. And I'm always curious that how many times you do that as part of your routine. If an official actually does give you the backup, if you even acknowledge it, if you even notice it, because probably 99% of the time, you're probably in the vicinity where you're supposed to be, so you don't even get that validation one way or the other. But that was the first thing I was thinking of, and they didn't go back on all the CBS angles that you had a chance to see during it, and then after the replay, and then, of course, later on in the night. They didn't, re-rack that to where you could see him get out of the huddle, line up, and make eye contact with the official. I never was able to see that. So that was the first question I had is, did he ever look over? But you're right. If you just look to the right, how close you are to the ball, you're the inside receiver right there. Yeah. You should know your right foot is ahead of the center's head, is ahead of the football, where I don't even think you need an official to validate that. And I was listening to one of the officials explain this last night, saying that first of all, and we know this, I think everybody knows this, at any level that you played, it's not the official's responsibility to do that.
No, but
they will. Yeah, they will help you, but
how does an offensive guy line up offside?
Right. And
that's just that I was like, oh my
that's
God.
My main.
Well, and when it's so egregious too, and that goes back to the whole looking for validation of it. So egregious, and if you look over at the official, I would think that if he's making eye contact with you and he's seeing the line of scrimmage, maybe can't see the line of scrimmage because your foot is over the football. But did Kadarius Toney even see him tell him to move back? But again, I'm with you on how
J.J. Burden would have
the tirade on the sideline and then the post game.
It was out of character.
Conversation. It wasn't, and I think that's frustration.
I know the bit people out
season.
there that'll have radio shows that are bit people, and that's all they do is they're just a bunch of bits.
That was
they'll go after him. Okay, that's out of character.
I think it's just frustration
I would
from
hope,
the season.
Yeah. Here's what I would like him to do. I would like him to crush Kadarius Toney.
Yes.
It was easier to go after the refs than Toney.
You're absolutely right.
But it's a bad look. And Andy Reid, that was a bad look. And I expect when Andy Reid talks to the media today, maybe they have a different tone because they should, unless they know something that it was acknowledged that he was onside.
Yeah,
and they still threw the flag.
Yeah,
now
that's a problem.
That's where we change our tone and go,
absolutely, that's a problem.
Oh, okay.
That's on the official.
Now all of this makes sense.
Yep.
But what makes sense to me as a Chiefs fan, and hey, it comes with the territory. They're on all the commercials. There's Taylor Swift. I get it. It comes with the territory. I can handle it. I got to worry about my team. We got issues that have nothing to do with Brittany Mahomes on Instagram or anything like that. Okay, we got wide receivers that are a full-blown crisis.
Yes.
And Mahomes also hasn't played well. He has not been the Patrick Mahomes of that. So I got to worry about my team. Well, I tell you that on the 11th of December, I'm going to put it on the prediction board. The number one seed in the AFC will be Miami. The number one seed in the NFC will be San Francisco.
Yeah.
Do what you will with that.
Super Bowl 19 rematch.
That's what I predicted at the beginning of the year would be the Super Bowl between San Francisco and Miami.
The Dolphins. I had, unfortunately, I had one half of that. I had the Niners versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah.
Now, could I make a case
Different
for you,
rematch.
Jimmy, as a Cowboy fan? And I don't know, you can go all in on your team because
no, I know what's coming.
No, that was
I'm going to enjoy today.
That was impressive last night. What was? Here's another thing that about the grip the NFL has on us. Are kickers human?
I don't think so. Not in the NFL.
No.
Aubrey is 30 of 30, 60, 59. And I would think that him kicking, the uprights could be skinnier and he would still put it right down the middle.
Like the Arena League?
Indoor?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
But kickers, what? I mean, we remember back in the day when we used to pretend like we could kick, or we had the, what was the thing that you punched the top of his head?
Oh, yeah.
I know.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you go boom, and it goes doing.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was not jumbo kicker. It was something around that. But you were like, okay, maybe a 25-yard field goal. Or if you had electronic football, you had the little spit wad that you used as a football, and you're like, hey, we got the kicker.
Little triangle.
Paper football. Yeah, paper football.
Oh, yeah, you do the triangle. But long field goals, unless you had not a full foot like Tom Dempsey, seemed impossible.
Yeah.
Now, guys are banging 59, 60, 61, 62, and you're like,
it's nothing.
Yeah, that's right through the uprights. It
Yeah.
goes into the back of the net. I'm watching him last night. I'm like, that is unbelievable what this guy is doing. And kickers are not human. But could I make a case to you, Jimmy, that Dak Prescott is more likely to win the MVP than the Cowboys are to win the Super Bowl?
Absolutely.
You don't have to agree with me.
No,
You don't have to-
absolutely.
You didn't even hesitate. You're like, no.
Because I know what's coming. I enjoyed last night.
If you ask maybe Josh Peterson, you might get a different response.
Is he a
but yeah.
Cowboy fan?
Oh, yeah.
big Cowboy
He's
fan,
more
yeah.
optimistic.
Yeah.
He thinks they can win the Super Bowl. I think, you know what? They might get a playoff game, and then we'll see what running back lines up at center on the last play.
I get in the first thing I say, I'm like, how about them Cowboys? And it's just the same old,
Yeah, they'll blow it in the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll blow it in the ninth. So, yeah.
So I'm going to enjoy last night, and I'll enjoy today, but let's not confuse anybody here. I know what's coming. I'm getting sucked in. And so when I'm upset that Monday morning, I'll be like, they are who I thought they were.
Will there be a moment that you let yourself truly believe? Like, does that have to be like, are we talking NFC Championship, like getting into that Sunday or what?
They were really good last night.
2-minute warning to the Super Bowl, and they have the lead. You know what? I think it might work out.
Hey, they were good last night, but I wonder the Eagles defensively have fallen off a cliff. And I think the fraud alert, and the Eagles are going through, I mean, they've been on a difficult run of a schedule, so maybe it's caught up to them.
They should have lost against Buffalo.
Gosh, they're just like the Chiefs defense. They're giving up these opening game drives that are 75 yards or more, and that's just demoralizing.
Setting
Like
the tone.
Like the Chiefs are not helping themselves. It's, it seems like every time I start to watch a game, they're behind 14-0. I'm like, okay, all right, Mahomes, go to work. And there's no number 10. And it pains me even more because I'm sitting in a bar on Saturday night, and NFL Network is replaying the 21 AFC divisional game, and I'm like, wow, this game is bat blank crazy.
Sean McDermott, what are you doing?
Well, the NFL definitely has a grip on us because it will dominate the conversation. Thank you to the Cowboys. Thank you to officiating. It will continue for days until we play the next game and we have something new.
Yeah.
Good on the NFL. I said this even during the whole Colin Kaepernick stuff, and they took a little bit of a dip. Then during the whole concussion thing where the suburban mom said, my kid ain't playing football, I said, the shield is too big to fail.
Yep.
And you know what? It is.
Absolutely.
And it gets bigger.
I do want to say, because I'm the Patrick Mahomes rant that he went on in the post-game presser, I do want to mention something that he brought up, that this is where it led me to believe, okay, this is months, maybe weeks of frustration that is now spewing out. And you could tell some of this had a lot to do with his personnel. When he starts getting into the legacy of that play and how that is not going to be seen and it better be replayed in Canton, Ohio, when Travis Kelce gets his jacket and he goes to the Hall of Fame, and it's going to be a shame.
That's 13 weeks of frustration.
Yes, and
that came out.
That's where I was kind of like intrigued, like, man, he's really going all in on the officials on this one. And then he kind of does that. And that's where I immediately went to, yeah, this is going beyond what just happened.
So
today.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Again, that's not who he is. I didn't like that at all. And I'm hoping that'll come around after things settle down, unless that tweet, and again, deleted. So I wonder if the Shield got to CBS and were like,
get rid of that.
If that's true.
Well, and if it is,
if it's true, then we got a problem.
And
we got a major problem. But I tend to believe that Tony is an idiot and never checked, or he was warned earlier in the game, never checked at the end of the game, and instead of looking right, he looked left or whatever, looked straight ahead, and it is what it is, and the Chiefs lose.
Or just did what every receiver does, and then even if the official said back up, he didn't. Now, it is interesting because of the way that the tone that both Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes had after the game. I would think if they felt pretty confident that that was the case, that the official did actually make eye contact and tell him to move up or move back, and so actually did communicate with him and still threw the flag. I get the feeling that would have been somehow brought up because they weren't holding back, especially Patrick Mahomes. They weren't holding back.
Reid talks on Mondays, and be curious to see what he says. Like, he talks in the morning.
Because I know you get the chance to see other things and hear other things after the game too. So maybe they hadn't had that information yet.
And the grip that the NFL has on us, you can be guaranteed that the next Taylor Swift album will have some song about Kadarius Toney. I feel bad for the young man.
Or the official.
Is he still go by Young Jock?
I don't think so.
Okay, he's going to be part of a Taylor Swift song. So he's done.
Yeah,
he's in a gots-to-go situation.
He was in a, well, if
Maybe
you're in a
today.
Taylor Swift song, you're usually part of a breakup. So,
all right, welcome in, everybody. We're off and running on a Monday. We got lots to discuss. It was another great sports weekend. I mean, it's just a fabulous sports weekend. There were a lot of cool things that happened in our community in the sports world and non-sports world. And then, of course, some guys get paid like $700 million.
Yeah, a little bit. It's pretty good.
Makes Deshaun Watson's $230 million guaranteed contract go.
Yeah. And you're not going to throw for us next year, too? All right.
Plus, we have a lot to discuss. Hoops, football, everything. The lineup a little bit later. Jacob Bigelow will join us after Nebraska outlasts Michigan State. Outlasts. I'm done. So I'm going to make a declaration here today. I'm back, and I'm like on my soapbox. I'm done. I'm not going to make a declaration. We wanted to have fun with, hey, what will Nebraska's record be over the next 4? What will it be over the next 8? I'm done with this team.
Can't do it.
And because you cannot predict what Nebraska basketball is going to do. So I'm off the prediction train. It's just game by game because they are very unpredictable. But last night, they got a win that they needed desperately, and they outlasted a Michigan State team, which Tom Izzo should cut his senior class loose.
Yep.
They're 4-5. Michigan and Michigan State are combined 9-10. But regardless, Nebraska won a basketball game that they desperately needed to win yesterday at PBA, and Jacob Bigelow was there, so he'll stop by at 9 to chat about that. Amy Just was there as well at 9:30. I think she's leaving for Tampa here shortly.
Yeah.
Who isn't going to Tampa?
Well, I'm not.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm going to Phoenix in a couple weeks, but
I'm off on Friday. If I didn't have to be back, so Omaha men's basketball plays a really good non-conference game, by the way, against Stetson on Sunday.
Who with Fighting Hats?
I would go to Tampa. I want to go to Tampa.
As you should.
So yes, I did look at flights to go down to the semifinals. But who isn't going to Tampa? I know a lot of people that are going to Tampa to watch Nebraska in the Final Four of volleyball. They take on Pitt at 6. They get the first slot, and then everybody's favorite, Texas and Wisconsin.
Who are Nebraska fans rooting for?
Both to lose.
Yeah, like something really bad happens to
Hurricane.
the floor.
So no, we don't want that. Because that's my side. We don't want that.
That's just a whole other headache for Gary.
So to Tampa we all go. At least some of us. And remember, Nebraskans, because the sun is still out. It's still warm. You can still get sunburn. Remember to take your sunscreen if you are going to Tampa. But Amy Just will be headed there as Nebraska volleyball is going to the Final Four for the 6th time in the last 9 years. She'll join us coming up at 9:30. That is the Rooferees, brought to you by John Higgins Weather Guard. Higgy texted me yesterday.
He misses it?
No.
Did he have a take on the offside?
No.
Okay.
He does not miss it.
No?
I keep trying to goad him into, hey, come out of retirement.
Yeah.
And he's like, nope, this is great. So he told me yesterday, he texted me yesterday, here's a little nugget that you can share with your workforce today. Clete Blakeman, Kip Kissinger, Brooks Wells, all from Nebraska, were working in Los Angeles yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. How about
Morning,
that?
Bronny.
How about that? That is contributor John Higgins to Mornings with Sharp and Handley.
Now, the Higgins family, are they? Because I know Brooks.
Zone's John
I know Brooks and the Wells family, they're Grand Island. I know John has brother that is in Grand Island. So I don't know if they were originally from Grand Island, but not only Nebraska, but you're getting a lot of Grand Island representation there too. At least two of those guys. I don't know if John is originally from Grand Island, but I know Brooks is. So
Yes.
yeah, representing the 308.
So that's pretty cool. That's the lineup brought to you by the rooferys at John Higgins Weather Guard. We will discuss what happened in Lincoln. Creighton rolled over Central Michigan.
Covered.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Dude, I love me some corner three. Is there another play that is more demoralizing than that corner pocket three in basketball? I'm sure there is.
Yeah, probably.
But Creighton has made a living in the past of that corner three, and it just seems like when a corner three goes down, you're like, oh. And when it doesn't, you're like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
They were hitting those against
beautiful thing.
Central Michigan. Plus, will Nebraska, before the week is over, have QB1, and that's it.
Oh, you're not going to talk about a wide receiver?
They are not a package deal. But will they have QB1? Not saying that they could not have a wide receiver who would not be wide receiver one, but could they have QB1? As Kyle McCord and Mr. Fleming are coming on official visits. Which one will say yes? Which one will say, I'll take you?
I like the quarterback angle a little bit better there. Yeah, that would be my smart money would be.
The dead giveaway is there are not a lot of other teams that are attached to McCord. Don't look at the Vegas odds. And also Nebraska has not expanded outside of their original net they threw out there.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things trending that Nebraska will have I'm going to say they will have whoever is coming would be a QB1.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. Now, it also brings for a fun conversation over the last 3 days as that link has gotten stronger and stronger. People got opinions on it too.
Yeah, I got. Let me just make a mention here.
Okay.
He was not a fit for Ohio State's offense. He's a better fit for Nebraska's offense. And anybody that is bitching, Nebraska was 104th in the country last year in yards per play.
Sometimes you forgot what you currently have and what you're trying to get at that position.
A guy that is upright with a pulse that can do the simple thing of playing pitch and catch might be better than anything Nebraska has. So please stop. Okay? Remember, it's a two-way street.
But he can't run.
You can go to jail if you love somebody and they don't love you back.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Not that that's happened to me, but I've heard stories about that. Okay, so you have to have love. Love is a two-way street. Let me just tell you guys about something here. Let me get a little sentimental. No, I'm kidding. But I know there's a lot of pushback because we all want.
Yeah,
but not everybody wants you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you,
man. I wanted to date Sherry Tibbetts. Sherry Tibbetts was a smoke show in 6th grade.
Yeah.
I wanted to get busy.
Yeah.
Like we were going to go behind the swing set. In my mind, I wrote her a love note, put it in her desk. She never opened it.
She never opened it?
I was crushed.
Oh.
The original left you on red.
Jenny Layden in 8th grade ghosted me too.
Did the letter say to Sherry from Gary? Did she even know who
it was
from?
One of those stupid.
Did you make a paper football?
Check the box.
Oh, yeah.
Yes or no?
Check yes or no.
Yeah.
Or maybe.
The only thing Sherry Tibbetts ever did for me, she did nothing for me behind the swing set. You know what she did for me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She came to a party at my house, drank a beer, threw it in the front yard. My mom found it in a tree, and I got in trouble.
This is the one, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope she's pregnant and's got 17 kids. Okay. You screw me over
20
in
different
6th
guys.
grade.
Wait. She's your age, right?
Yeah.
You hope she's pregnant and has 17 kids. Wow.
Double whammy.
I hope she's got her own.
A lot going on.
I hope she's got her own orphanage going. That'll teach you for not responding to my note in 6th grade. So it's a two-way street. Love is like Nebraska has put out there. Hey, Kyle, yes or no? And he's like,
maybe.
Mm-hmm. Well, come on down.
Yeah. Can we show you?
Yeah.
some
As
stuff.
someone who holds grudges for a really long time, I approve of this. I like this.
Oh, I've got a list.
Good.
I've got a list.
I want to see this list sometime.
Jenny Layden broke my heart. And now Jenny Layden, I've told this story before because people now will dox her on Facebook and they'll go, hey, is this the girl?
Yeah.
She is.
I found her.
She has a high-ranking position in the state of Iowa.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, offensive coordinator.
Can we could we talk to these people?
No, we're not going to talk to these people. I don't even know where Sherry Tibbetts is at, other than she has her own orphanage. She just keeps pumping out kids. She's in her,
she's almost 50 and
he
still
runs up
pumping out
he runs up
kids.
the score on a 30-year-old grudge.
Good on her. Good on her.
I mean, I guess that there's
Goes
part
for
of
two.
you should feel blessed
She was
for being able to
Catholic.
do that.
Probably that's why St. Pius X Church looks a little bit better. It's the Tibbetts kids, the whole family. They're paying tuition to go
Do you
to
know if
Catholic
she ever
school.
got out of the state of Iowa?
I doubt it. I doubt it. Now, to be honest, she was not the brightest person in 6th grade, so that's where I thought I had a chance.
You're playing the odds. Okay, even back then you were
smart.
playing the
Hey,
odds.
there was no way any girl that was
You're into
smart
analytics
and had 20/20 vision in 6th grade was going to go out with me.
Joke's on them now.
Yeah, because I made a noise when I walked with my corduroys.
What is that swooshing sound? That's Gary.
You're fat.
Oh, hey, Gary.
Hey, you're fat, but you're funny. All right, 43 past the hour. We're off and running. Also, RIP to Tungsten Armo Doyle. Sad that we will not be able to bring you up anymore. Your time was very valuable to us. You made us laugh, and now we got to move on because Otani has moved on I-5. All right, off and running. Jimmy, Nick, Gary here for you on a Monday. Glad to be back. Glad to have all you with us on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is your home for the big game. Whether it's the NFL or a rivalry on the hardwood, you will find all the action on Oscar's top-of-the-line audio-video system. With 40 TVs and massive dual projectors, the game has never looked better. Pair that with their award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has everything you need. 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Hi, everybody. Kent Pavelka here with why I chose Everlevel Concrete Repair for my driveway. They do it all. They fix cracks, lift sunken slabs, protect the finished product from deterioration, and all at a fraction of the price of replacement. It's not a Band-Aid like other repair methods. Everlevel's products are designed to last, which is why they've been voted Best of Omaha again this year. Better yet, it all comes with a transferable warranty. Protect your concrete before winter. Call Everlevel today for your free inspection. Everlevel. They make your driveway Everlevel. Level up.
Take your home to the next level with Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring. If you have a kitchen, bath, or closet that is completely dysfunctional, now is the time to make them functional. Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring is your expert for taking your home to the next level. The staff will listen to your needs and dreams and create a unique space specifically for you and your family. Visit the showroom at 192nd and West Maple or online at levelomaha.com. That's levelomaha.com.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope, and they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks. Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Tell us how you feel on the J-Tech Construction and Solar Zone Twitter feed. Reach Gary, Nick, Connor, Josh, and John anytime on the J-Tech Construction and Solar Zone Twitter feed. Contact the official exterior and solar experts of the Huskers. J-Tech Construction at yourexteriorexperts.com.
Hey everybody, it's Jimmy Allen and former Nebraska quarterback Adrian Martinez. You know the After Hours Lounge is open from 6 to 8 p.m. when the sports schedule allows. And guess what? I'm stopping by from time to time. When Rob Love's off for the night, Adrian's going to stop by and talk all things Nebraska football, what he's been up to in the NFL, and you know we're going to still talk all things high school sports. And who knows what we'll get into. Maybe you'll get to ask me some questions, so stop by from 6 to 8 p.m. and check out the show. Brought to you by Bellevue University and Papillion Sanitation here on 1620 The Zone.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
I've said this numerous times, but when you're not in the area and you're paying attention to volleyball this weekend, from Creighton getting hosed in the 5th set by replay, to Nebraska winning their 2 against Georgia Tech and Arkansas. We already know this is a volleyball state, and it just keeps, the point gets pounded home. Man, we also have some great coverage in the state of people from websites to newspapers to radio to TV that cover that sport for all 3 Division I programs and beyond, all the other great volleyball. Man, nobody can touch us. And I've said that before. The coverage is really unique. We have people that know the sport, that cover the sport, and then you have the best volleyball play-by-play announcer of all time, and John Baylor.
Yep.
And this is going to be a fun week. I'm trying to convince myself to go to Tampa. There are actually cheap flights on a Monday morning.
Wow.
There are cheap flights to Tampa.
I think
how come there's not a travel agency that's putting something together?
I think there should be.
So they're playing in the downtown arena in Tampa. It's a nice little area.
Yeah.
Okay, you can get out. There are really a lot of hotels right around there, but hop over to Ybor City, see the chickens, the roosters.
The where and the what?
They have Ybor City. That's like the party district.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's not very far.
Okay.
The transportation downtown is pretty good in Tampa. There's a lot to do around the arena where the Tampa Bay Lightning play. So it's a bigger arena. Why isn't a travel agency putting together a quick little ticket package?
I'm surprised.
It's not like that. It's not like they haven't haven't had a bowl trip for 7 years.
Feel like you'd be chomping at the bit to be
trial
doing that
run.
right
This
now.
is what it's like.
I honestly do think maybe it's just because when we go back to a couple years when Nebraska was in the Final Four and they were playing Wisconsin in the national championship game, I don't remember as much build up into that one as what we've now kind of experienced over the last 48 hours. And I think the reason, I guess maybe the obvious reason, is that this team, you truly do feel like is a national championship caliber team. Like given what they've done, that this one feels like there is a lot more anticipation. Like Saturday, it just seemed like a lot of people were really gearing their day around the match at 5.
Well, who wants this time next Monday morning, the collegiate volleyball season will be over. I expect it to do big numbers, especially if it's Nebraska. I don't necessarily know about Pitt. But if it's Nebraska playing on ABC on Sunday afternoon, I expect it to do big numbers. And then I also expect the caretakers of that sport to say, let's put this up for some bidding rights. Our non-major championships, so to speak, and I don't mean to knock volleyball, but the football, men's basketball, and women's basketball, but like the other championship sports that ESPN has a stranglehold on, I hope then the caretakers will say, hey, why don't we put these up for bidding rights? Let's see who else wants in on the piece of pie. But who honestly, in this kind of season, wants the Nebraska volleyball season to end? Officially, it ends next week. Like Nebraska can't keep staying in Tampa and play on Monday, but it officially ends.
They have an inter squad or something.
But it's become one of those years where you don't want it to end.
Yeah, absolutely. More so than I can remember. And again, maybe this is just sort of having the recency bias with that. But if you think about when in 2016, when they were in Omaha, when they beat Texas, there was a huge buzz for that. But that to me also felt like because it was here.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
So you had that going for you and you thought, well, it's only appropriate. It would just make for a great story that Nebraska would be able to win it, right here in the state of Nebraska, which they did, and they beat Texas, which added a nice little layer to it. But the buildup for that was, I think, its own thing. This one, if you kind of compare it to 2021, I feel like this one has a lot more from the Sweet 16 now, and as I think we're going to really experience this week, has a lot more feel to it. And I think it's just the type of the talent and the caliber and what this team has done.
Yeah, a little bit. But I'm going to tell you, this is the most enjoyable season of a Nebraska team that I've covered chasing a championship since the football team in 94.
Wow.
94 was one of those, everybody was engaged because of what happened in the Orange Bowl against Florida State, and there was going to be no denying.
Yeah.
And then the trials and tribulations that team went through, everybody galvanized in 94, and that was a fun journey that culminated with beating an arch rival and the way you beat them. 95 was fun, but 95 was exhausting around here because you were fending off the national people that wanted to tear your program down.
Yeah.
Even though you were beating the snot out of everyone and you culminated it by, stepping on the neck of Danny Werfel and Steve Spurrier, 95 was an exhausting season. 97 was enjoyable, but wasn't memorable outside of the end result. Because how many moments of the 97 run do you remember? You have the kick six.
Yeah, that's the one that always comes to
You have
there.
the plea by Scott Frost.
Yeah.
Other than that, what comes to mind
Maybe
about
the
97?
Washington game.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're very few.
I think
Even
of the
though-
Oklahoma game just because it was T.O.'s 250th.
But it was.
But I know what you mean. It's like,
like nothing stood out.
Right.
That was a cool moment.
Yeah.
Okay. So this year, why I say that nobody wants this year to end, and I don't want to compare it to the past national championship runs that Nebraska's had, and not to take anything away. I mean, this is a program that 6 of the last 9 years they've been in the Final Four. Hello. Okay. Hello. Is the season that it is. There has been the moments. There has been the scenes. There's no better scene in volleyball than inside of the Bob Devaney Sports Center.
Right.
And the journey. You have had so many moments this year from Volleyball Day in Nebraska, which will be continued to talk about for years and years and years, to the epic 5-setter against Wisconsin, which it seems like 1.9 million people in this state, joined by millions of others, were watching, to a team that has no seniors, is extremely likable. They're all over TikTok, which they're very, very funny. And you can relate to this team. And then to get to Tampa, they have a gritty, kind of almost opposite of their identity of how they've won. They're going to Tampa, and you're like, man, I don't want this season to end. They are extremely likable, and I think it's important in this state. I don't care if you root for blue, black, or red Nebraska. We're a core, okay? And we take pride in our people, is that they're very relatable.
Yeah.
I think that goes a long way.
I think that's a good way of putting it, because if you go back to that first set against Arkansas, where pretty slow out of the gate, Arkansas is controlling that, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, Nebraska's going to be down 1-0 in this Elite Eight match, and all of a sudden they pull off the comeback, and they take you through a little bit of the roller coaster. But it's not that feeling of watching other teams that take you through the roller coaster of like inconsistency. They kind of take you through the roller coaster of just natural emotion that you're going to get in competitive athletics. And you still see when they come through how freaking good they are. And I would think a big part of why not only have you gotten, and you're always going to get the state engagement, but you've gotten more national engagement, a little bit more so with this team than you ever have, because of what was on display that Wednesday night in Lincoln, Nebraska, where you have, sports celebrities in general, all watching that, weighing in on that, of the scene and what was taking place in a football stadium, but also realizing, damn, that team's pretty good too. And what was kind of cool about that, now that we fast forward into the postseason, is the two teams that were playing on that floor, you knew Nebraska would be there, but that Omaha team was there too. So that's great for the state. But since then, I think you're right. I think about how we've seen a lot more access. They make themselves a little bit more known on the social media platforms. But also, speaking of social media, I can't remember a year where I've seen more posts about not only people going to matches throughout the year, but the excitement level, different fans, people that I know that I never knew went to volleyball games are going to volleyball games. There's just something about this team this year that has really attracted people more on a week in, week out basis than just maybe the normal Husker football fan that will always support Nebraska volleyball no matter what, but will really get dialed in the postseason. I think a lot of that has happened a lot earlier. Maybe some of it has a lot to do with the volleyball day in Nebraska, but I think more than anything, I think you're right. I think it's more about this team, this personality of what they kind of represent on and off the floor.
Yeah, the sport has been great in this state. And you got all 3 Division I programs made it. The atmospheres, whether it be Devaney, if you look at the first and second round at Sokol, those were some of the best atmospheres that Creighton Athletics has ever had in a smaller venue, but it was fantastic there. You also have a Creighton program that is a non-Power 5, Power 6 that finds their way into the Sweet 16 when it seems to be dominated by the big boy conferences.
Yeah.
The sport in state has never been better. And now I think out of state and around the country, the sport has never been better. And it gives you and it's still got room to grow. It gives you a Final Four where you have 3 number 1s and a number 2. Now, with all that said, Nebraska's not the favorite.
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
I think
Wisconsin is the favorite to win the national championship.
Yeah. And
I agree.
If you're telling me that Nebraska should be the favorite, I'm telling you it's okay to be a homer today, but I'm giving you reality. I think Wisconsin is the favorite to win the national championship again.
Yeah. And if you just look at
get back, I mean, Texas won it last year.
If you think of those 2 teams just head to head, there was the 5-set thriller in Lincoln that went Nebraska's way, but then there was that sort of eye-opening 3-set sweep in Madison right there at the end of the season. So given where these 2 teams are playing and kind of where they're at heading into the Final Four, this is where, I think there is a lot of confliction when it comes to who Nebraska fans are rooting for in that particular matchup.
It's great because it gets us fired up. So Pittsburgh, here we go. Steve Peterson. Okay, Steve Peterson ruined Nebraska athletics.
That's true.
Single-handedly ruined Nebraska athletics. Remember where he went to and came back? Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Okay.
Had his name on the Event Center.
We don't like Pittsburgh. Okay.
Oh, there you go. I see. Okay.
Yeah, you connected to Steve Peterson.
They delivered us Mark Whipple.
Oh, see, there you go. That's the more. See, the Steve Peterson one has been there for a long time. We need some new blood. There you go, right there.
We liked Mark Whipple for a day. Remember when Nebraska football played at Heinz Field? They didn't cut the grass and it was flooding.
Yeah.
Remember how it inconvenienced you?
It was a really bad game, too.
Yeah. Remember when you thought that Hugh Green should have been the Heisman Trophy winner, but that Sue is better? And people at Pittsburgh are like, Hugh Green is better than Sue. There you go. Hate Pitt. And then you get 2 coaches with punchable faces.
Oh, yeah, Kelly.
You get the guy from Goonies and then Coach Elliott. I mean, that could be on the opposite side of John Cook, who is the most cool customer going.
That is true.
This is great. Let's just build up the angst. But that's why I don't want the season to end. It's been a hell of a journey. It's been an amazing thing. Now, is it?
How do we feel about Pat Narduzzi? Can we throw Pat Narduzzi in there?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's just throw Pat Narduzzi.
Because remember when we liked Whipple, he knocked our offensive coordinator on a Car Guy podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like we can throw Pat Narduzzi in there.
So let's just come up with Pitt Hate Week. I don't know if people in Pittsburgh, outside of a small core, really care about the volleyball team. Okay.
No.
Well, the Steelers don't look good, so.
Yeah. I mean, the Pirates aren't going to do anything in free agency.
You think Mike Tomlin during his weekly press conference could be like, hey, by the way, congratulations to Pitt. Wish them the very best.
My Penguins can't do anything on the power play. It's atrocious. And I'm wondering if Mike Sullivan's going to hang around.
Yeah.
All right. So it's an amazing run that it's been on. And it's very interesting to me as it is built up. I got to think Thursday night in Tampa, Florida, and you have people that are really diehard volleyball fans that'll go to the Final Four that are Nebraska fans, regardless if Nebraska's there or not. It is going to be overwhelmingly Nebraska.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly Nebraska. And just think what it could be like if Nebraska beats Pitt. Now, Pitt went over their reverse sweep against Louisville, so they're no pushover.
Right.
Just think of what that could be like Sunday afternoon.
Which I love. I love that this is a Sunday afternoon ABC national broadcast. Another good way to, as we've seen the numbers, television ratings wise, has really supported the progress that this sport continues to get on a national level. And I'm sure everybody at ABC is hoping for Nebraska to emerge out of that one, because you get Nebraska, and it probably you want Nebraska, Wisconsin. I think if you're the execs, but I think you also realize what Nebraska, Texas could do So you're probably not even worried about that night match.
Yeah, Nebraska-Wisconsin.
Round 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Franklin Smrek against the freshman in Beeson.
Yeah.
That the sport would take a gigantic jump.
Because it's become a rivalry, too, in a conference that obviously has everyone's attention with the quality of volleyball that's being played there. To get the 2 best out of that conference in a rivalry, which will be well documented leading up to that, because you get not just one day now. You get a 2-day, 3-day buildup if you're counting part of Sunday, too. You get a little extra time to build that up between what happens Thursday night and then when it's actually played out on Sunday as opposed to the typical Saturday schedule, too. So a little more chance to add some substance to it as well.
All right, 7:02. When we come back, why do people hate Kyle McCord?
Because he can't run. Can't run, Gary.
What are we doing, people? What are we doing?
Ohio State don't want him anymore. Why do we want him?
What are we doing?
He's a bum.
All right. It's got to be a two-way street. They found a guy that has interest.
Right.
Okay.
That was the main point.
I think there's a lot to appreciate about Kyle McCord, but I feel like I'm in the minority when I say that.
I know we have Jeff Sims PSTD.
And that's okay. And that's okay.
PTSD? PTSD. Okay.
He created a different type of trauma.
Where were you a week ago or a week later, this time last year, when Jeff Sims said yes to Nebraska on December 18th?
Everybody's like, Jeff Sims numbers, Jeff Sims. Okay.
But there's a couple of things about McCord and why he would come to Nebraska that I think I got my finger on that we'll discuss. Also, what happened in Lincoln yesterday, Nebraska basketball got a big victory, and Michigan State is 4-5. And Tom,
they were preseason number 4, by the way.
They'll be in the Elite 8.
Whole question: who whined more yesterday, Patrick Mahomes or Tom Izzo?
Tom Izzo.
Jimmy's got an update coming up after this break on 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Drain, time-saving traffic center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown near 90th and L. Then along Highway 370, there's going to be a little bit of a delay from 72nd to Gold Coast Road. Then along Industrial Road, be prepared for traffic to build up just a little bit from 149 to 144th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
Have yourself a classic little Christmas. Give Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets and Lotto tickets as gifts. They're fast, fun, easy, and make great stocking stuffers, party favors, or last-minute presents. Top prize odds vary by game.
Need a feast to feed the family? Godfather's Pizza has you covered. Build your own feast. Choose a medium specialty pizza, a medium one-topping pizza, and a side, like my new bacon ranch cheese sticks. Freshly baked, loaded with mozzarella cheese, tangy ranch, and topped with an abundance of bacon. Do yourself a favor and build your feast today. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Is your car making a howling, growling, or crunching noise? It could be related to the drivetrain, which consists of your transmission, your transfer case, and differentials. Omaha Transmission is specialized in diagnosing and repairing all those components. Don't diagnose it yourself. Take out the guesswork and have us tell you for sure.
Omaha Transmission, shifting to running smooth.
Email us on the Equitable inbox with whatever is on your mind. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can hit me up, agree, disagree, tell me your thoughts on life at Handley at 1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do, do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Everyone, Josh and John here for the FanDuel Sportsbook. Another weekend of football will be here before you know it, and some big-time matchups on the card. And right now, new customers, if they go to FanDuel.com/1620, John, they can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. Every week, I keep mentioning the Dolphins. They're another big favorite. Whether it's that game or any others, just go to FanDuel.com/1620.
And that's what you're looking for. Big favorites. But the best part about a winning $5 moneyline bet is all you have to do is pick a winner. No point spreads involved. So go to FanDuel.com/1620. Place a $5 winning NFL moneyline bet and get $150 in bonus bets absolutely free. That's FanDuel.com/1620. 21 plus in President, Iowa. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame moneyline wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Nebraska ball is uncanceled, as officially made by Nick Handley.
I said I was getting very. So
I wasn't here. So did you?
So
did
I
you
came
go?
close to putting him on cancel notice.
Whoa.
Josh had a couple days to think about. Josh Hodson had a couple days to think about it.
You guys fired Hoiberg while I was gone.
Yeah, we were ready. Well, for 20 minutes of basketball, we were ready to cancel.
Did he? Well, okay. So I.
It's actually it's a 60 minutes of two games. That you had 20 great minutes against Minnesota, but you had 20 horrible minutes, and then you had 40 really bad minutes against
So I said right away this morning, I'm done predicting Nebraska. You cannot figure them out. Okay. They learned their lesson against Minnesota where they got bullied.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was more about effort, and I didn't expect them to quit, but I was curious on how they would respond yesterday. That's not a vintage Michigan State team, but that's regardless. Nebraska needed a win.
Absolutely.
They got a win. The only person that's been canceled, Boogie Coleman.
Yeah. Where was he?
You know where he was?
He was on the bench.
It was Sam Hoiberg.
Yep.
And
Sam Hoiberg was a big difference last
year.
night.
They made the transition. When they started to take off because of injuries, Hoiberg had to play more.
Yep.
What Hoiberg did on Walker yesterday, they need more of that. I think Boogie Coleman has been canceled.
It's very possible, yeah.
Juwan Gary was not. He had 20 points and led 4 Huskers in double figures. They won 77-70. Gary made his first start of the season.
I loved it.
Yep. I know it's because Alec was hurt, but the energy that he brings and the offensive presence he brings too, I just feel like it was noticeable.
The fans may not have been excited, but we were. It's good to see. 8-2 now. They head to Manhattan for the Big 12 Game of the Week, presented by your friends at Phillips 66 Sunday afternoon at Bramlage Coliseum on your local UPN affiliate. Meanwhile, the Nebraska ball women win at Michigan State 80-74 Saturdays. Alexis Markowski scores 13, hauls down 15 rebounds. They're 8-2. They host Southern Sunday afternoon at PBA. Good teams win, great teams cover. Creighton did both Saturday against Central Michigan, 109-64 at the Chi. They got career highs from Isaac Trout and Mason Miller. They score 18 and 17 points respectively. 6 Jays score in double figures. They do not play with their food. They are now 8-1 under MAC. They are 109 in non-conference games. They travel to Henderson, Nevada to face UNLV Wednesday night at 8. And Henderson, not at Thomas and Mack.
They scored on 46 of their 69 possessions in that game.
Yeah.
Just whistling while they work.
Now, Central Michigan has a net in the 300s, but still.
You take care of business.
I give credit.
They don't mess around.
So Creighton is very smart. When they can control their scheduling, like how it, what they start the season with or around finals, they are really, really good at that. And good on them. They have the resources to do that. But one thing that I think should also be on Mac's resume, they, if at all, have these hiccups against teams that they should crush. They usually crush them. And they crushed Central Michigan.
Took care of business.
They don't have an incarnate world that is hanging around Mac's resume. And kudos to him, because when they are playing inferior competition, and Creighton's a rough matchup for teams that are in the world of Central Michigan, they just beat them like a...
Yep. Took care of business, go out to dinner, have a nice Saturday evening.
They shot 65% from the floor on Saturday.
Good job. Get a workout in. Get a run.
Hey, talk about shooting. You guys see how many threes Alabama took against Purdue?
I did not see the total number. What?
They were 19 of 43. So Alabama comes here on Saturday night.
Let it fly.
Saturday is a monstrous sports day. There's 3 NFL games, and there is a incredible slate of college basketball, including Purdue, Arizona. But at 7 o'clock, Alabama is here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And that was getting a lot of run yesterday, too, on Fox, too. They are promoting
TV.
that crap.
Well, they
that.
should.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about Alabama. Alabama is second in the country in offensive efficiency. So you're thinking, man, what is that total going to be for Alabama Creighton? They are 208th in defensive efficiency. Man, are they going to be able to stop Creighton? Give me some 93-89.
That's going to be like the Iowa Creighton game, like on steroids, from what you saw.
I'm excited to attend that. All right.
That'll be good.
The Creighton women grind out a 73-61 win yesterday in Laramie. They're 7-1. They open Big Play Wednesday night at Marquette. Morgan, Molly, Emma Ronsick, and Lauren Jensen combined for 56 points over the weekend. Frankie Fiddler joins the 1,000-point club as Omaha men's basketball
on a free throw.
But he made pretty much all of them.
Yeah, he was 13 to 14 at the line.
He had 24 points.
He had a good look late in the game, top of the key, down 61-58, and thought he had a better look, and unfortunately turned the ball over. That's 3 losses in the last waning seconds.
62-58. Good 5-6. They host Stetson. You said big game Sunday.
You know what? So it's not easy for Omaha to schedule non-con games. They're not North Dakota State, who plays Ozark Christian.
Oh, they're playing basketball again.
The Ozark Christian.
I have no idea who Ozark Christian even is.
So you have not seen the score from yesterday?
No.
Let's look at everybody on the stream. Look at Nick's response when he brings up North Dakota State and Ozark Christian from yesterday.
I'm not looking it up because I want to see this.
They were played in Fargo.
Okay.
The Shield Center. It's probably snowing there.
No, what it was chaos because their football coach, who just beat the brakes off of South Dakota, bolted for USC.
Well, where is this at? Come on.
GoBison.com.
Are you on the 2020 version of the web or the 1997 version of the web? What are you doing over there?
Why is this taking forever here?
What website are you on?
I'm on Summit League right now.
Are you asking?
Holy hell!
Are you on onlybison.com?
108 to 14?
Yes.
They let them score 14 points? What the hell?
Onlybison.com. Yeah, it's a dating site as well as a basketball.
Oak Hills Christian.
Oh my God.
Okay. I'm gonna say I haven't had a lot of run lately, and I got a bad left shoulder. Dude, I could go out for Ozark.
All right, I want to see what the first
Ozark
score was.
Or Oak Hills Christian.
Oh,
it was
Ozark.
It was 60 to 5.5.
Oak Hills Christian.
Yeah, Oak Hills Christian.
Oral Roberts played Ozark Christian.
That's why I was having a problem finding the score there.
Oak Hills Christian is the team that North Dakota State played. I could get 15 on them.
60 to 5.5.
Yeah. 108 to 14 was the final score.
Or 60 to 5 at halftime. We'll be right back.
That's a bad look for the Summit League.
That is not good.
But so Omaha's had trouble scheduling, and Western Illinois dropped out. So it hasn't been the most ideal home schedule. They got a great non-conference game on Sunday at 1.
People should go.
Against Stetson. I mean, that's a name team that people know. So
yeah,
hopefully they'll bounce back. I think they will.
The Omaha women played at Sapp Fieldhouse yesterday. They beat Peru State 92 to 70. I didn't know they still do that. So
why they play that game at Sapp?
Okay, so they had a holiday bazaar at Baxter Arena.
Okay.
So you're playing a non-D1.
Was it a craft show?
I think so. Doesn't it sound better to say bizarre?
It does say a bizarre is like, whoa, what was happening? But yeah.
So they
like the rodeo
they
road
played
trip.
like a game a year at Sapp, and it's usually like Peru State or College of St. Mary.
Yeah. Which is appropriate.
Yeah, they won 92-70. They needed a win. Grace Cave records her first double-double of the season with 16 points and 13 rebounds.
Omaha will return that trip to Peru next week.
Yes. The Peru.
Sorry.
Only if they play at the Oak Bowl. Which I still got to get to it. Just
the town of Peru will really get behind
That's on my Nebraska sports bucket list to go see a football game at the Oak Bowl in Peru.
Oak Bowl. Yep. I had a couple buddies who played baseball there.
Is Lou Saban still the head coach?
Nice.
Oh, that's a good question.
Is Nate Bradley still the quarterback? I know David Wingett is there playing basketball in his
from
12th year of college.
Was that from that
Ponca? Winnebago.
Oh, Winnebago. That's right. Yeah, yeah. He was like a stud, like absolute high school stud. He's still in college.
Yes, he is.
I remember that story like a while ago.
College is fun.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
I liked it.
Okay.
Omaha hockey gets a 2-2 tie over St. Cloud State, or with St. Cloud State, but they grab the extra point in a shootout, beating the Huskies 1-0. They're done for the year, not the season, but the year. They're now 9-5-2. They'll open the new year against UMass Lowell at the Desert Hockey Classic in Tempe, Arizona.
The Mullet Arena.
And January 5th. And then, yes, pretty big news, especially 6 hours up I-29. Mass panic in Fargo as Matt Entz is the new, we'll see, he's going to USC. Linebackers coach and assistant head coach for defense.
The FCS playoffs have been pretty electric. Like most of them have been, except for, like 3 of the 4 this past weekend, except for North Dakota State blowing out South Dakota. Unless you hate the Yotes, which it's okay. People around here should hate the Yotes and the Jackrabbits.
Okay.
And it's fine, and you should put it on the bumper sticker. But North Dakota State, which is, I think if you're Matt Entz, you're like, hey, I think South Dakota State has surpassed us in football. So let's get out, which is odd timing. But they blew out South Dakota in the Dakota Dome.
That was impressive.
But 3 of the 4 were electric. I love that the FCS playoffs are on TV and they're getting this run because you get to watch them this time of the year when we don't have as much college football.
My beloved Grizz in overtime Friday night.
Hey, how about the Greyhounds of Albany?
Yeah.
They go into
the Kibby
Dome late night and they beat Idaho.
I don't know if it was because they were playing Villanova. I know it was cold, but I expected to see a little bit more fan support there at the South Dakota State game. That was a little sparse.
The game was on ESPN. I'll tell you, that stadium, which is a beautiful
really
stadium
cool
in Brookings, so it's on the edge of campus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on campus, but there's just nothing but gigantic open fields around it.
So it's pretty miserable.
So it's like my in-laws' house.
It was cold. I mean, they had a trailer on the sideline so players could go in.
Yeah. Well, and then the end of the bowls were empty, so that would lead me to believe that everyone was kind of jammed in there underneath the press box on the sidelines there. But just seeing that place when they played like North Dakota State before, and it's just it's wall to wall people. That was kind of I figured there'd be more.
Thanks, Jimmy. One other note in terms of movement in the Big Ten. PJ Fleck, I hear cracks in the boat.
Oh yeah,
lost his DC Joe Rossi, who's pretty good, to Michigan State.
Yeah.
Jonathan Smith, hello. We're going to talk about this a little bit later because there are moves that are going on in the Big Ten, either with new staffs or movement, that coaching matters. Physicality matters. That's what this Nebraska staff, they recognized about a month into the Big Ten, going through the cycle of how physical of the league it is. And they kind of like where they're at, but they realize that, man, it might be more physical than you realize from the outside. Coaching matters. You got to shore up your coaching staff. If you have a wink link on your coaching staff, you either need to hide it or get better there, because you can see movement in the offseason. Man, coaching is a big, big deal. And it's not just the head coach.
That's no
it's
lie.
not just the coordinators.
Yeah.
It's position coaches. And that's an interesting, we'll discuss this maybe in the 8 o'clock hour. That's an interesting move by Lincoln Riley. But why would you leave? I don't know. There's something going on where your head coach of a team that's still playing in the FCS playoffs would say, I'm going to LA.
I think you just nailed it earlier. What you said, what he was maybe thinking. Get out now.
I mean, hey, South Dakota State has, they've gone up. I mean, North Dakota State's got the banners, but South Dakota State's a better football program.
Yeah, they're coming.
A couple of tweets here. We were talking about volleyball and the journey, and nobody wants it to end. Don says, if they get past Pitt, going to be so hard to beat the Big Ten All-Star team. But yeah, that team that played in front of 92,000 should win the championship. Fairy tale with Jordan Larson blessing the sideline. Am I crazy to think, like, you're watching this, and I know it's a tension convention for the people that are in the building and people that are watching at home or listening to the great John Baylor. But how in the world is John Cook so, like, calm? And I look at Jordan Larson on the sidelines, and she's got her legs crossed, and she's just sitting there. And people are, like, losing their mind because Arkansas is, like, making it a match. And they're all just kind of calm and
we
cool.
got this.
Like, all of his assistants are like, they're sitting back. They got their legs crossed. They're probably doing some Wordle on the phone.
Volleyball's Wordle.
Somebody's playing Immaculate Grid on the bench.
They got the one dude who's animated, but everybody else is just like, all right.
How are they able to do that?
Like, the only animated person you ever really see, and I think it's just because of his on-court presence, is Jalen Reyes. But
yeah.
But I think that's just like
rather
his. I think that's just like his nature. Like, but he's not like overly animated. No, you're right, because
Everybody else says, man, we're good, aren't we?
This is in those moments, though, right? You want the tone set by the coaching staff, and that's why I think even with a young team that it means so much to them, you kind of look over there when a game like that's going in the first set, and they're just like, oh,
good for volleyball
I think
coaches.
we're fine then.
John Cook looks like Tom Landry over
like
there.
watching Creighton and Omaha this year. They're Matt Buttermore and Kirsten Bernthal Booth. Now they're not lunatics by any means, but their staff is like calm. And then I watched basketball yesterday, and first of all, there are 4,000 basketball coaches per team.
Well, and it was hard to miss the Michigan State ones because of those god-awful green
But basketball
zip-ups.
coaches are lunatics, not just Izzo, okay? But why are volleyball, like, head coaches and assistant coaches, like, super calm? Except for the guy at Oregon. The guy at Oregon is an odd duck, man. Dude, that guy calls a timeout and he sits on the floor.
Odd duck.
He is
I see what you did there.
He is perfect for Oregon.
Seems like an Oregon thing.
He can go back to wearing his Birkenstocks.
He looks
because
like
they're
a
out of the
Lanny.
tournament. Jim writes in, I am the guy that when it comes to volleyball, season tickets, I am the guy when it comes to volleyball, he has season tickets, have attended 12 of the 17 Final Fours. This team is special. 4 freshmen in the Storybook Stadium beginning have made this as memorable as any season I can recall. Thank you. That's what I'm at. Is it's one of those years of a championship run in our state that we follow that you don't want to end.
Yeah.
It could end magically on Sunday and Monday. We're talking about it, and you're like, man, I want more because it has been one of those years where there's going to be a video. There's already been the court. There's going to be a book. You don't think I will tell you, Monday morning, Nebraska volleyball wins the national championship. You don't think the Lincoln Journal-Star and World Herald together will have a book out?
Yeah.
They will be selling a book. Mike Babcock will write a book.
They'll be the historians.
Yes.
Lincoln Arneal will get involved on this one, too.
Sports Illustrated will do a special Nebraska volleyball edition.
With that
will
music.
That will be at Husker Hounds and every Husker store in the state.
The journey all began at
Get your
Memorial
football
Stadium
phone and
on a
commemorative
summer
book.
evening.
Why would Kyle McCord want to come here?
Yeah.
When we come back, so I wasn't here for the last couple of days. I know you guys talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
There is Kyle McCord slander this morning.
Oh, it's been going on ever since he's been linked to Nebraska.
Did we forget about 2023?
They don't want him.
Well, he's no Heinrich Harburg.
Okay, he's not your first choice. He might not be your second choice. But you know what? Do I need to do my Sherry Tibbetts story
Does
again?
he want to be here?
Okay.
Some people you got to appreciate when they want to be here.
Okay.
Maybe the Sherry Tibbetts story in the 8 o'clock hour.
Okay.
Let it breathe a little bit.
I mean, Jimmy, you're on Match.com. When you go there, you need somebody to reciprocate.
That's the main thing here.
Well, yeah, when you're on Tinder and you swipe, someone's got to swipe as well. Otherwise, you guys don't
They
sync
have
up.
to meet you halfway.
That's true. Are they playing?
You can't have peanut butter without the jelly.
Is this the college football version of Tinder that Nebraska's playing on the transfer portal with Kyle McCord?
Maybe the only marriage that matters is Kyle McCord and Marcus Satterfield because they may have the same thinking after the 23 season and getting together for 24. I'll explain.
Okay.
It's mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, speaking of the big volleyball match Thursday night, Nebraska in action in the Final Four. Best place to check it out is DJ's Dugout. You got 7 metro area locations. They got daily food and drink specials, including their Burger Mania going on tonight to get 20% off of hamburgers, and they are great ones. They're all beef, fresh, never frozen over at DJ's Dugout. But again, all throughout the week, whether you're getting ready for Monday Night Football, whether you're going to watch whatever, maybe watch some hockey this week too. DJ's Dugout, best place to watch it with their state-of-the-art media wall. There's not a bad seat in the house, no matter where you go. So check out Husker Volleyball this weekend and check out every night at DJ's Dugout, locally in Vietnam. Veteran-owned, dig in at the Dugout.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
It doesn't seem like any of us are supper people in here.
I was a supper person.
I was
for a
too,
long
and I
time.
moved away from it. I hate supper. People who call dinner supper call lunch dinner. and these people triggered me.
Dinner is only lunch on weekend, on like a Sunday.
My grandmother would call supper a snack between lunch and dinner, and then sometimes dinner would be dinner, but dinner wouldn't be dinner. I didn't understand these etiquettes.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Bright and mild for your Monday with the high today in Omaha 47 degrees. Light winds out of the southwest up to 10 miles an hour. Mostly clear skies becoming partly cloudy overnight. Chilly and a tad breezy. Southwesterly winds shifting out of the north up to 15 miles an hour. A low of 24. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
Book an appointment now or take the vision quiz at KuglerVision.com.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Drain Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown from 90th to 102nd along Dodge. And on Industrial Road, be prepared for a little bit of a delay from 138th to 156th. And other than that, it looks like your commute this morning should be pretty smooth, even if you're running a bit late. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Reason number 6 to pick Fernando's for your party.
It's a universally known fact that tacos means it's a party. This is science, people.
Call Fernando's and schedule your holiday party today. Feliz Navidad from everyone at Fernando's.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Katie was recently told by a competitor that her transmission needed to be replaced. She thought the cost seemed a little too high, so she called us. We towed it from that shop and verified the transmission was in fact bad. We did the job and saved her over $1,500. Sometimes a second opinion can save you a lot of money. Don't overpay. Call Omaha Transmission.
Omaha Transmission, shifting to running smooth.
Acura of Omaha has a great selection of new RDXs, MDXs, Integras, and TLXs in stock. Plus, get financing from 3.9% APR. Get the best price in just minutes at AcuraofOmaha.com.
Williamsburg Pizza is famous in New York, and it's about to be famous in Omaha. Why? Williamsburg Pizza uses chow tomatoes from Italy, local Italian sausage, and 100% all-natural mozzarella. Then there's Nino's award-winning fermented dough. What comes out of their oven is pizza made fresh, made delicious, made for you. How it should be. Come taste the difference of the recipes created by Nino Coniglio. Williamsburg Pizza, southwest corner of 168th and Harrison, next to Jimmy John's, or williamsburgpizza.com.
Attention sales professionals. NRG Media is looking for an accomplished business-to-business salesperson who wants to take their success and skills to a new level. Is this you? Our account executives work with local businesses to create marketing plans to help them get more customers. On air, digital, on-site, audio, video, it's all part of what you could sell. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Get more info and apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
This hour is powered by Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair, Nebraska on 1620 The Zone. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, one quick question on the NFL. No, let me read in. I'm being transparent today. I'm not blocking anybody. I'm not muting anybody.
Oh, good for you.
If you listen to the first segment, I talked about the Chiefs
on the radio.
Chris writes in to the Equitable Bank inbox. Mahomes was crying like a little girl over a call that was waiting to get called as soon as the ball was snapped. He gets every call for him all season. He needs to face the facts that the NFL DCs are catching up.
You didn't get a PI call last week.
Yes. Yeah. Take that, Chris. I appreciate the email. Just looked. The ticket prices to Tampa still are good. My question is about the NFL yesterday. So the Jacksonville-Cleveland game went on forever. I think they're still playing.
3:45. I didn't realize how late it was. I was like, wait, it's night
I had
now.
ETN going in the in fantasy, so I needed that game to keep going for him to get more points.
Does Trevor Lawrence have the longest face that you've ever seen?
I don't think it's debatable.
It's like a horse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you go, oh, why the long face, buddy? Yeah.
Like his face is enormous.
Yeah, and he has an uncanny resemblance of Mitch from Dazed and Confused. When I used to think Tim Lincecum looked like him too.
Or like the statues you see at Caesar's Palace.
Oh yeah, yes. Never even thought of that, but yeah.
I was transfixed.
Yeah, you're right.
On a different note, we need to give some love and if you're looking for something to do on Wednesday night. So, the show is heavily ingrained in the community, and I have the opportunity to be involved with high school athletics, and whether it be, I guess I got to bring West Side to OPS,
of course,
to Millard, to Elkhorn, to Gretna. I love you all.
Couldn't have a conversation without bringing up West Side.
West Side did beat Gretna in basketball 77-74.
A thriller Friday night.
Ooh,
Yeah.
good game.
Yeah.
Boys high school basketball Class A, deep.
Yeah.
I'm talking deep and good. I mean, you could make a case for multiple teams to win a state title. But Gretna played at West Side the other night, and Coach Feakin, the head coach for Gretna, was not on the sidelines. And he's been battling cancer for the last couple of years, and he's a wonderful person. He is one of the nicest people. He's been on this show numerous times. He's such a great pillar of the Gretna community. You had Mike Cale, the head football coach, and Brad Feakin, along with Bill Hurd, who is a major part of Gretna boys basketball. They're two great representatives, and Coach Cale stepped down, and Joe Dalton got promoted, and Joe's going to do a great job taking over Gretna football. But Coach Feakin is going to need heart surgery, and so he is away from the sidelines right now. And whenever you see Gretna play and he's not there, you're like, oh, is he okay? Where's Coach Feakin? Because he's been such a familiar face.
Mm-hmm.
They are hosting, and I want to get this right, they are hosting a fundraiser for Coach Feakin, who has a rare form of cancer, and he's going to need heart surgery. It is going to be let me get this correct. It is at Heavy Brewing.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure where it is.
I know. Yeah.
Okay,
I've
so
been
I'm
there.
not
It's
exactly
very
sure
cool.
where it is in Gretna, but they are having a fundraiser to try and help with the medical bills that are starting to pile up for the Feakin family.
It's kind of by, if anybody's familiar with Gretna, it's kind of by they had the huge volleyball indoor place called Spikers.
Is that
it's
the one Sarah Baker Hansen talked about with the pizza?
Yes.
Ah,
yes, that's the place.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes. So Heavy Brewing, they're doing it on Wednesday night from 5 to 9. So if you get a chance, if you live in Gretna, you weren't aware of it. Great thing to stop by, and a great cause. And we'll try and keep you updated on Coach's progress. But I'm a big fan, and I know he's a listener, and so that's coming up on Wednesday for people in Gretna. I also want to point out there was a heck of an accomplishment by a Nebraskan that competes in athletics. So they have the Iron Man wrestling tournament. It's held in Ohio. It's some of the best of the best. And Cade Ziola, who wrestles at Omaha Scud, who just committed to Nebraska, becomes the first Nebraskan to win that tournament.
Wow.
It's out in Ohio. And I think Cade he's at least top 15 nationally at his weight class, nationally. He's headed to Nebraska. Now, it's quite the family. I mean, it's a hell of an accomplishment. Okay, that puts, Nebraska wrestling is on the map.
That's a humble brag right
we,
there.
We've got good boys wrestling. We've got up-and-coming girls wrestling. But once you step out of here, whether in the summer when they go to Fargo or in the Ironman out in Cuyahoga Falls, and a Nebraskan wins a weight class, you go, all right. And he's really, really good. And that's a great pickup for Mark Manning. But it's a great athletic family. So I've been told, I don't know the dad, but the dad's a big wrestling guy.
Okay.
And so I think they built their own wrestling gym.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he helps local wrestlers. And then his twin brother is a right-handed pitcher and a third baseman from Scott who has committed to go to Nebraska.
Yep. And
there you go. You think the balls? So you got Jordy and then Bryson, who was unbelievable this weekend for Papio South, back-to-back 30 burgers. I mean, watch out for the Ziolas at Nebraska.
So there were Ziolas, and I'm pretty sure they're related. That actually were two brothers that also played at Gross when I was playing too, and stud baseball players too. So that family athletically.
Well, I think there's
there.
Somebody sent me a note. They have their cousin goes to prep, and I guess is a really good baseball player as well.
Lord,
but that's a huge accomplishment. And he's already on the map around here, but for him to do that away from here is pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
All right, now Just completely changing gears. Should we talk some Kyle McCord slander?
Yeah.
So McCord and Julian Fleming are going to visit Nebraska sometime this week. They are not a package deal, even though I think it would be ideal for Fleming to join McCord because you teach the wide receivers about what kind of routes McCord likes. Marcus Washington, actually, remember, he transferred here with Casey Thompson. Now he's a little bit after Thompson had committed. But Marcus Washington, Trey Palmer will tell you, he was a good, valuable resource to say, hey, these are the kind of routes that Casey Thompson likes. You already know this because you've gone through spring, but I'm telling you, this is what he really likes.
Yeah.
I think in this case with a young wide receiver group is a guy like Fleming could say, hey, this is what Kyle likes, and this is what he can do. Possibly hit targets and throw wide receivers open. Oh my gosh, that happens in the game of college football. But they're not a package deal. And Fleming it might be a good change of scenery. He's had some injuries. He got passed by the great wide receivers they have at Ohio State. And he's still learning how to play wide receiver. He's a great perimeter blocker, which, Nebraska could use. He's more of a possession guy, in my opinion, for a quarterback who I don't think is going to stretch the field.
Yeah.
I don't love McCord's elite arm strength, if you want to say the word elite. But Nebraska put out a big net. They were aggressive. They said, all right, who's interested? And then you get the feel and you're like, is this real or not? And then you move forward, and McCord is very reciprocal. But I'm surprised at a little bit of the kickback this morning because there is some hate. Now, take this as a grain of salt of a guy that is a huge Fran McCaffrey fan and does not have Fran fatigue and thinks Fran McCaffrey should stay at Iowa for years and years and years. It's Iowa JD with a tweet. McCord will come to Nebraska because no team that is any good is jumping in to take him. That should be the biggest red flag. Ward leaves Washington State. Huge teams get involved. Gabriel leaves Oklahoma. Big teams jump in. McCord leaves Ohio State. McCord leaves Pitt or Nebraska. That is scary. All right, I lost it. There's another. So Zach chimes in about Kyle McCord hate. Anyone criticizing McCord is a word I won't say on the air. He is a very significant upgrade over what Nebraska has had this season. Nebraska was a competent quarterback away from 8 to 11 wins this season. Do we need to discuss that notion? That's become very popular over the last couple of weeks.
8 to 11?
Yeah, I'm not going 8 to 11.
No.
A quarterback that can hold on to the ball and make decisions. Yeah, Nebraska's probably 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
I think 8's probably the ceiling.
I saw a 10-2.
Yeah,
and I'm
no.
Hey, I got other issues as well. They don't need a Heisman quarterback. They need a competent quarterback. McCord is that. He comes from a winning culture, which is key. 11-1. 11-1. I want a winner. Okay. You got guys on this roster that have won, but they don't know how to win. If you have a guy that's been around a winning culture for multiple years and walks into your program and says, no, this is what we have to do, I like that. I'm attracted to that. I'm attracted to winners. He has experience in the Big Ten versus Big Ten defenses. He also has been a program that is as much of a fishbowl as it is Nebraska. That's a key point. Brought that up on Schmitty's show on Saturday. If you've been the quarterback at Columbus, you know what you're in for.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get in for when you become the quarterback in Nebraska. He wasn't a good fit for what Ohio State wants out of the quarterback, but he was their option for 23. He's a better fit for Nebraska. So is he ideal? Is he Will Howard? Is he Cam Ward? No, better than Blake Shapen.
Yep.
Kyle McCord is if you're going into this, Kyle McCord is a competent quarterback for Nebraska that may be exactly what they need in 24 to get them to where they want to go, and that is to still be playing football this time next year.
Yeah, let's not pretend that.
My gosh, people, Nebraska just went 5-7. Haven't been to a bowl game in 7 years. Okay? We got to stop. Jeff Sims was a mistake.
Yep.
Sorry, Jeff. Time to move on. Okay? Your coaches didn't put you in a good spot. You didn't help yourself. We're moving on. We gotta erase that. Okay? And we got to say, all right, watch the film. For what Nebraska needs, for what they have, is he a good fit, yay or nay?
Yeah, he's a good fit. Kyle McCord. And think about...
They're not getting the pick of the litter, boys and girls. But they're getting a guy that fits them.
You're getting an upgrade. And you're getting an upgrade, I think is a very key developmental year for the rest of that room. Mainly a guy like Danny Kaelin, too, who comes in has a chance to, again, watch an experienced veteran quarterback who also had to wait his turn like Kyle McCord. And that, I think, is also valuable as well. If you're returning essentially the majority of your offensive line, because I've heard the exact same things of, well, you've got a guy who's not mobile, who is going to be playing against a worse or playing for a worse offensive line than what he had at Ohio State. How do you expect him? And so those are all things that are part of that conversation, where it's probably why Ohio State doesn't necessarily want to commit to Kyle McCord in 2024 because of the lack of mobility. When you think of some of the great quarterbacks that they've had, think of the year, because I was comparing Kyle McCord a little bit more to Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins wasn't the most mobile guy. Then you went on to Justin Fields. Then you went on to C.J. Stroud. Those guys had obviously a lot more athleticism, had the ability to get out of trouble if need be. Kyle McCord is someone that probably doesn't fit that type of quarterback that they want. Although, again, you're not asking anything better than Kyle McCord as far as dual threat quarterback that has the winning gene, that has the experience. And then the bonus that I think that doesn't get talked about enough, and you just brought it up, is that experience in the Big Ten against some of the best defenses in the Big Ten and really being able to hold his own. And don't forget also playing against Notre Dame as well on the road. There's experiences there that Kyle McCord held his own against. And yeah, he has better personnel at Ohio State than what he has in Nebraska.
That's my hesitation, is his skill talent was superior to Nebraska.
Sure. And I think that's a given. But when you think about what the quarterback position needs at Nebraska and what Kyle McCord can deliver, this isn't, again, looking back at Jeff Sims and saying, okay, how do we really gauge what Jeff Sims was doing the years leading up to his transfer to Nebraska and try to sort of fill in the blanks?
I'm done with Jeff Sims.
Yeah.
Okay. It was an experiment. It didn't work. I've given him a mulligan. I'm off of Jeff Sims. Okay. I'm on to whatever is playing quarterback in 24, because there's going to be at least two guys that start games.
Yeah. And I also think that people will wonder, how does this impact? How would Kyle McCord committing to Nebraska, how would that impact the room? Does that mean that all of a sudden Chubba Purdy decides to up and leave? I don't necessarily look at it that way. I really don't, because of a point right there. If you want to have stability in the quarterback room, you would want to still, I think, personally, my opinion, I'd want to have Chubba Purdy in that room. Not because that's a guy that I think is going to battle Kyle McCord and eventually is going to win out that job. No. But history has taught us anything. You need another competent quarterback to come in. I like Chubb in that role. I'm not sure where he's at right now with how Nebraska goes in the transfer portal with this. But I also look at another guy coming in, and Danny Kaelin.
How he is right now, he's probably laying down. He just had surgery.
That is true. He had surgery last week. But how he's feeling with everything going forward, depending on who Nebraska gets.
I don't care about his feelings. I don't. You're coming here to compete. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. If you didn't watch this past season and you were on the team and realized that quarterback was, and you're wondering, well, why are they flying all? Get the heck out of the program. Okay.
Yeah, that is true. That absolutely true.
Get the heck out of the program.
You should want that for the room. You should want that for the
team. Get in the portal.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Absolutely.
All right.
There's a lot of let's take a look at Nebraska talking with Cam Ward. Let's take a look at Nebraska talking with Will Howard. Let's take a look at Nebraska talking with Sam Levitt.
No, hold on. You know why? Okay. I'm fired up. I got 3 days of vent up stuff. If I'm on that football team, and I just went through a year where I'm 5-7. Nebraska is a ways away from the playoff, boys and girls.
Oh, yeah.
I might cause an accident on a Dodge Street here because I said something. Nebraska's a ways away from the playoff. They haven't been to a bowl game since 2016. They were 5-7 this year, and they were on their worst enemy. They didn't lose a game in October. They didn't win a game in November. Okay?
That's just it.
If I'm the head football coach, and he has said this to his guys that have hung around, year one might be a little rocky. Well, they're a little bit further ahead in year one, and they almost had a chance to pop. If you can commit to me for year one to make it through our transition, year two, we're going to take care of you and get to where you guys want to be, and that is playing in a bowl game. If I'm a player and I've been told that, and they have, especially the upperclassmen, I'm glad that my coach is not standing pat.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I know what we have. I love our defense. I think I like what we have in offensive line. Okay. We got some things to work on. Matt Rule, please work on your running back room. That was a side note. I'm encouraged that my coach is out there throwing a wide net and going after these big names.
Yeah.
Okay. These national names, because he made a commitment to me that we're going to get this right in 24. And there's a sense of urgency. So what does that do to me? A player on the roster is like, giddy up, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's egg on my face that we didn't make a bowl game. That's on us. But you know what? In 24, our coach says, hey, I like what we have on our roster. I'm going to go out and try and find the missing pieces for us. So what does that do to you as a current player that's like, all right, coach, I got you. But I like that our coach is trying to upgrade our roster. And he's going for big fish that I don't have to Google, that I've watched on TV play before.
Right. He's going after Cam Ward. You know that the probability of getting that was low, but you're still making that effort. You're still sending the message to the team that this is a big deal for us in year 2 to figure that part out. And I know that we talked to Sip last week about it. In fact, even when you were here the week before, there's when the Sam Levitt connection started being brought up. I get Sam Levitt's appeal from 2 aspects of the years of eligibility and also a little bit more of a dual threat type of guy. But again, I go back to what does this room need? And I'm not trying to say Sam Levitt would be a bad fit, but I'm trying to look at it from a positive of Kyle McCord, of what this room, what that offense needs, the experience. So the lack of mobility.
I need a guy to throw a ball to a target and get the ball out on time.
Exactly. The quarterback presence that lacks in that room right now for the guys that you saw play, even Chubba Purdy, that you saw play, that does not have that same type of presence. And this is where I would bring up the lack of mobility part of it and say, you know what? If you do have a guy, again, with the experience, if the offensive line isn't nearly as good as what you had at Ohio State, there is where that experience and that quarterback instinct does come in. That presence comes in where you know how to set coverage. You know how to work around some of the weaknesses. What have we talked about all throughout the season when you can have a quarterback that not just his arm strength or his legs and physical attributes can mask it, but the mind, the presence, that can mask some deficiencies of your offense. Look, is anything a slam dunk? No, but the experience that Kyle McCord has, the fact that he went 11-1 and went up against big boy, Big Ten defenses that Nebraska's going to see again this year, there's a lot of checks in the positive column, in my opinion.
So here's another thing. We'll go to a break here. Is there something to be said about a 24 season where you pair a quarterback who had much superior skill talent? So you're wondering if the skill talent at Ohio State made him a better quarterback, or could Kyle McCord make the skill talent around here better? The one thing I'm encouraged by, and watching highlights of the Heisman Trophy presentation, a lot of Marvin Harrison Jr., McCord's throwing him the ball. He can throw into a tight spot, and just the ability, my God, the ability to play pitch and catch. It sounds so simple, but why is it so difficult in Lincoln? Adrian couldn't do it on a consistent basis.
Nope.
Of all the good things that Adrian did, playing pitch and catch consistently was a mystery. The ability of a quarterback to play pitch and catch. McCord can do that. Did that happen in 23?
No, not even
You'd
close.
watch guys warm up the sidelines and they couldn't play pitch and catch. So I'm encouraged by that. But is there something to be said? I'll say this. We'll go to a break. You can hit it on the other end, on the other side, Nick. You have a quarterback who has a chip on his shoulder, who's leaving Ohio State. Why would you ever leave Ohio State? Paired with an offensive coordinator who has a chip on his shoulder. What does that look like together? Because both are true. 49 past the hour. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone. The football season is here. Actually, it's the holiday season. Ho, ho, ho. You got some coal in your stockings if you're a Chiefs fan like myself or an Eagles fan. Remember that Super Bowl last year?
Yep.
Well, all your wishes are going to come true because Santa Gary is here. And my good friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, are going to hook you up. Right now, if you're a new customer, I'm coming to visit you. I'm going to come down your chimney. I'm going to come onto your phone. And I'm going to show you the app, the FanDuel app. $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins.
And you wrap up week 14 with a doubleheader of Monday Night Football, and then we get into the full slate. App is so easy to use. You got a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. You got the Dolphins-Titans line right now. It is a big number for the Dolphins at lane 14, and then Green Bay on the road, lane 6 against the Giants. Visit FanDuel.com, use the promo code ZONE, and kick off the NFL season. Again, that is FanDuel.com/zone. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. 21 plus in President, Iowa. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. $10 for first deposit. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone's four-quarter pick'em returns. It's your chance to win $1,620. All you have to do is correctly pick 4 college or NFL games against the spread. Listen to qualify every weekday or enter online at 1620thezone.com. One lucky listener will be selected each week to make their picks live on air.
Awesome.
Go to 1620thezone.com for complete rules and contest details. It's four-quarter pick'em with 1620 The Zone.
Betting on your favorite sporting events just got a whole lot easier. Warhorse Sportsbook is now open in Omaha. Save yourself the drive across the river and put your money where your mouth is at Horseman's Park, 6303 Q Street. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Put your coffee department in good hands with Host Coffee Service, providing direct delivery and loaned coffee equipment with service programs. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Take your home to the next level with Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring. If you have a kitchen, bath, or closet that is completely dysfunctional, now is the time to make them functional. Level countertops, cabinets, and flooring is your expert for taking your home to the next level. The staff will listen to your needs and dreams and create a unique space specifically for you and your family. Visit the showroom at 192nd and West Maple or online at levelomaha.com. That's levelomaha.com.
Hey folks, Kent Pavelka again to tell you about your local concrete experts at Everlevel Concrete Repair. Now, if you have cracked, uneven concrete, Everlevel can fix it at a fraction of the cost compared to replacement. This is no Band-Aid. Their products are built to last. It gives your concrete the durable protection it needs, and there's still time. I chose Everlevel for my driveway, and I've got peace of mind with their long-term transferable warranty. Everlevel's products and customer service are top-notch, and that's why they've been voted Best of Omaha again this year. Say it with me. Everlevel, Everlevel, Everlevel.
Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill serves pizza with an unforgettable pizza sauce, fresh ingredients in unique combinations of bold flavors. Try customer favorites like the 3 Oinks and a Moo, the Mountain Man, or the Upset Grizzly Bear. There are daily specials and menu items like tacos, salads, wings, and burgers. Stop in and check out Timber Creek's family-friendly dining environment while enjoying a popular adult beverage. Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill at 178th and Harrison and at timbercreekpizzaomaha.com.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, ghost riding your mom.
Nice. Nice.
Hello, Don.
Your mom goes to college.
Fantasy football team name for next year.
That is a good one. Yeah, file that one away.
Just occurred to me, you spent almost a week in Texas and didn't land the Huskers a quarterback. They should have had you in living rooms.
Yeah. Do you have some downtime where you could have
Texas?
done that?
Hey, Texas Tech people are not happy. They returned 18 starters. They'd won 8 games. They're playing in the Independence Bowl Saturday.
Have fun.
It's the day of graduation in Lubbock. Also, their basketball team plays in Dallas. No one's going to Shreveport to the game.
Don't blame them.
But boy, they are pouring money into their football stadium. I don't know when's the last time any of us have been down to Texas Tech for a football game.
Jones Stadium 05.
They just keep adding to it. I mean, it's enormous, but it doesn't look like a football stadium from the outside. It looks like a campus building.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Because all of the buildings on campus have to be by code. So they have to have a certain look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very Southwestern.
Okay.
I'm sorry I did not get a quarterback out of the state of Texas. I want to ask this question. I'm going to let you respond to something I said before the break. What does a pairing of a quarterback with a chip on his shoulder with an OC with a chip on his shoulder? Because I will tell you, so Satterfield's pushback is this. This is told to me through somebody that has talked to him. That when he hears the noise of, man, Purdy and Harburg didn't develop, his immediate response is, you should have seen them in the spring compared to where they are now. Now, which makes me shudder of like, what were they doing in the spring? But that's that's his pushback. Like, it's almost like Matt Rule said, hey, Marcus, I mean, it's a prove it year for you. As the OC, people are all over you. Here's your opportunity. Go get us the quarterback that you want. Go out and sell it. It's your opportunity to make up. I'm kind of being hypothetical there a little bit. But so I said, what do those look like if you have a quarterback that has a chip on his shoulder with an offensive coordinator that has a chip on his shoulder? And if I'm getting today, man, Nebraska in 23 was a competent quarterback from winning 7 to 8 football games. Is Kyle McCord not competent?
At the very least, he's competent.
We're talking about Nebraska.
Right.
Nebraska hasn't been to a bowl game in 7 years. Okay?
Yeah.
7 years. The brand is strong. Pull back the curtain. A little iffy, good in spots, not so good in others. I maybe I'm overreacting this morning, and that might be the case. But I don't get all this.
Overreacting to the negativity around.
No, well, okay. He's not the number one guy for a lot of people. And maybe it's also he's only a 1-year guy.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Okay, we can explain that. We'll do that next hour. But if you're emailing and tweeting the show and driving to 50th and Capitol to knock on the door and go, don't want McCord, if you're telling me that you thought that a competent quarterback, and I'm not disagreeing with that, okay, just a guy that gets the ball out, throws to multiple targets, doesn't have to be told where the ball goes.
Does the basic things right.
Nebraska would have won 7 games.
I've signed up for that every day of the week.
Is the guy that was at Ohio State that was 11-1, was third team All Big Ten, is he not competent?
Right. Is he truly incompetent if you take away Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Look where Nebraska is. You have to understand where Nebraska is right now. Okay, they're in the third tier of the Big Ten.
Yes,
they're not going to the playoff tomorrow.
Right.
They need a bridge guy. For when they get their quarterback of 25. All right.
Okay, so if I'm looking at a quarterback OC duo that both have something to prove, chip on their shoulder, scorched earth, ready to rock and roll here, the one thing that I feel Nebraska was missing more than anything when it came to that relationship this last year, and I think this sort of maybe could possibly align to between McCord and Satterfield, is that relationship being on the same page. Start with Jeff Sims. That relationship never seemed to be on the same page. Then you go to Harburg. What type of offense is Marcus Satterfield familiar with, and what type of offense did he have to run to accommodate Heinrich Harburg? Not on the same page. It probably wasn't until the last 2 games of the year, Marcus Satterfield even said as much, where they seemed to be able to do a little bit more of the offensive concepts that they really wanted to do from day one, because they had a quarterback that was, use that word, at least competent enough to give them that opportunity to do so. So now you have, if this is what goes down, if you get Kyle McCord and Marcus Satterfield that are on the same page, and a guy that from a profile standpoint does a lot of the things that Marcus Satterfield would want in an offense, you get 2 guys at the very least that have a lot of time together that get on the same page, that offense gets on the same page. And that, to me, already would be a major step in the right direction compared to what you had last year with that relationship between all 3 quarterbacks.
Just get the quarterback thing done, all right? Last year it was December 18th when Sims said yes. I mean, it could happen. Whoa.
Before we're off the air?
No. I didn't say well. So something's up with my computer here because I think my Siri is activated.
Oh, is it repeating things you're saying?
Yeah. So if I'm tweeting at you, it's because it has picked up my voice, and so it is just going nuts here. Okay, get the quarterback thing figured out, and then I might be on an island here. I might be like Texas A&M Corpus Christi. It's the only college that is actually on an island.
Thus, they're called the Islanders.
Why are we not talking about running backs?
Yeah.
Why am I getting excited when I see on Instagram that Florida transfer Travis Etienne, not in the NFL, is a friend of Chief Borders?
Yeah.
And I know that he would like some cash. Get the quarterback down.
Colleges
And
full of
then can you promise me on our show we'll have a discussion about running backs? Because I'm not comfortable with Nebraska's running backs, whether the way they're being organized, coached, or who's in that room for 2023.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
2024.
I would agree with that
Okay.
too.
All right. Just want to get that out of the way. There's a lot of response to this, and there's a lot of discussion. And Nebraska, which is much to the chagrin of Matt Rule, is going to have to do a portal quarterback again.
Yep.
Which I think they would like to get out of that world where they're chasing the top portals. They would like to go with just a portal addition to supplement.
And then you're building each year, building, developing, and there you go.
Yep. All right, we'll get to some emails. There's a lot of discussion on this, and quarterbacks make the world go round. Look at Zach Wilson. 30 points.
What a game.
30 points in the second half.
Yeah. Are we uncanceling Zach?
Second coming to Richard Todd.
He'll be the backup quarterback in Kansas City next year as Andy Reid tries to fix it.
There you go.
Nice.
He wouldn't hate that.
It's good life.
As long as Matt Nagy doesn't put his slimy paws on him.
You're starting to come over to my my world now with Matt Nagy. Okay. Welcome.
I was just hoping that Mahomes' breakdown on the sidelines yesterday was towards Matt Nagy and not about the officials. All right.
Would have shocked me. Would not have shocked me.
A little bit later, Jacob Bigelow and Amy Just will join the show. It's Mornings with Sharp, Handley, and Jimmy at 1620 The Zone.
Hey, over at Woodhouse Mazda, the Season of Inspiration event continues on. And what that means, you can get great deals on every Mazda CUV. How about the 2024 Mazda CX-5? I love my CX-5, and they just keep getting better. Combined with standard iActive all-wheel drive and an available turbo engine, the CUV has everything you need to enjoy any adventure with safety and comfort, holiday travel, whatever it might be. Love the new front grille. It looks awesome. Also, the Mazda CX-5 has 8 trims to choose from, so there is one that is going to fit your lifestyle. And then best yet, in the winter, we know we love to be able to start our cars wherever we are, have that nice and warm by the time we get into the car. Well, they've got Mazda Connected Services, which allows you to remotely start your engine from your smartphone. And right now, you can get into a 2024 Mazda CX-5 and receive 0% APR for 60 months plus no payments for 90 days. Stop by either showroom, Woodhouse Mazda in Bellevue or Woodhouse Place Mazda, 144th and Giles. They make the car buying experience streamlined to save you time. You can browse inventory, even get your deal started in the comfort of your own home. Just go to WoodhouseMazda.com or WoodhousePlaceMazda.com and find the car that is perfect for you at Woodhouse Mazda. It is a drive worth experiencing. With approved credit, tax, title, and license extra when financed through Mazda Financial Services, $299 doc fee due. Its signing offer expires 1/2/2024. See dealer for details.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Drain Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have one accident to report eastbound along Highway 370 at the JFK, and you can expect delays of up to 10 minutes in that area. Then along L Street, there's going to be a significant slowdown from 90th to 108th, and on Dodge, be prepared for just a little bit of slowdown from 94th to 90th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Zoom Drain.
Zoom Drain's highly trained team of experts and our fleet of well-equipped service trucks are dedicated to providing solutions for homeowners, plumbing contractors, mechanical contractors, and business owners across many industries. Contact Zoom Drain anytime by logging on to zoomdrain.com.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your home for Omaha Maverick hockey all season long. Don't miss a single puck drop, power play, barn burner, or any of the action this season. Your home for Maverick hockey, both home and away, is News Talk 1290 Coil.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best.
What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing? Or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned it with such dedication that instead of the first, it felt like our 15's. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Dear Santa, I hope you are having a good day in the North Pole. Is it cold all the time there? Is that why your cheeks are so rosy? I bet all of your reindeer are very excited. All right, guys. Is their beard long? My dad's is scratchy. My mom says I'm a good helper. But you didn't come last year. Was my chimney broken? Or did you forget? I do that sometimes. I just really hope this year when I wake up, I'm gonna see that you came to my house too.
Donate to Toys for Tots and help the Marines deliver hope to a child in need.
It hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, I never smoked a cigarette. How in the hell did I get lung cancer?
I don't smoke. I've never smoked. So I started Googling. One word just kept coming up, like it was in bold and red, and it was radon.
Radon is the number 2 cause of lung cancer.
Well, you don't know if it's in your home. You got to test. You can't see it. You can't taste it. You can't smell it.
What's your level? Radon Defense Midwest can help. Visit radonradio.com for a special offer. That's radonradio.com.
This hour is powered by Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair, Nebraska on 1620 The Zone. Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Here we go!
Here we go. Hour 3. Okay, here we go. Mornings on a Monday. You know, it was only a matter of time they'd have a dub mix.
Yeah. I don't take credit for this one. This was the wife's idea to play this, saying, oh, I bet Gary will like this one.
Here we go. Here we go.
There's a happy Monday. You sounded like sad Tony Romo.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, what was was he just talking too much by the time
Probably.
the second half came around? He's like, Tony's game, that's unacceptable. Like, he just really got gravelly. Football.
Grumpy because they may not be spending much time.
Tony
in January
Romo gets
in
more
Kansas
excited
City.
about football than you ever will, and you just need to know that.
Don't need to shout on every play. We don't need to be so annoying.
But Jim, did you see what just happened? They ran for 3 yards, Tony. It's 2nd and 7.
It's an amazing formation.
Literally just halfback dive.
Doubleheader of Monday Night Football tonight, and there is no Tony Romo. So, do we get a double? Do we get a double dose of the Manning cast as well?
That's what I think.
Yeah, well,
they're going to do both.
Well, they do kind of sort of a back and forth on each one. That's going to be kind of tough.
So Tyreek Hill, trying to win an MVP. I think there's
Mammals,
Purdy and there's
14
Prescott.
The games are the
there's
same
Hill.
time for people who are just realizing there's 2 games tonight. It's not doing like a 5 and 8 o'clock game. Like, they're both at
So
7:15.
Miami and the Titans from South Florida is ESPN, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So is that Buck Aikman?
Yes. And then ABC has Packers Giants.
Who's doing that game?
Yeah.
So the Dolphins are nearly 2 touchdown favorites. The Packers, who I guess I should have known this, but I saw the little nugget this morning. You know, Matt LaFleur has never lost in December.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah, I saw that last week.
So they're a 6-point favorite against the Giants.
Buck and Aikman
MetLife.
have Giants, Packers.
Oh, they have, okay.
Fowler and Lewis Riddick have aquatic mammals and Titans.
Fowler and Riddick are doing that one. Interesting.
And Dan Orlovsky.
Guys
Mr. Step out of the end
there
zone.
you
Oh,
go.
how
There you
lucky are
go.
the guys at KTV that they get the Packers
yeah.
and not the Titans Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have a double dip
Good.
of Monday Night Football. Before we get to our caller on the 42-degree source hotline, a couple of tweets here about the portal quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost riding your mom.
We got to give him a prize or something.
It's been a while since he changed his avatar or his name. What if we don't get a portal quarterback? Outside of the insane fan reaction, the butterfly effect could be significant. Current, future recruiting, what level of stigma would that put on your program?
Oh, no. Is this Tennessee Greg Schiano?
Now, this is a good question, but here's why I think it's different. So, Nebraska really is not attached to any other quarterback right now that I think is realistic. So, they have their first visit with McCord.
Yep.
And McCord and his dad, who, by the way, if Kyle McCord comes to Nebraska, does that mean Zach Smith is back in on all of Nebraska?
So Zach Smith said
that
he hopes Kyle McCord does well. He had a little beef with his dad, but hopes Kyle McCord performs well at Nebraska, where his very good friend is the head coach. So apparently Zach Smith is very good friends with Matt Rule, according to Zach Smith.
Really?
According to Zach Smith. I don't know if Matt Rule would reciprocate
Zach
that.
Smith is on record. If you trust Zach Smith, or you really care about anything that he says, he did say that Kyle McCord should start ahead of C.J. Stroud. I don't know that I would believe and run with that.
Nope.
So, Dad appears to be very active in Kyle's football life. But the fact that Nebraska is not really attached to anybody else leads me to believe that they've gotten a good vibe from McCord, and they have started to narrow that he is their guy. Now, I say, as people will be like, well, where's number 2? What if the second quarterback in your portal is already on your campus and you're treating him like a new addition? Jim writes in, as it relates to McCord, is there a realistic expectation that Kalen could start as a sophomore?
This year is going to be very, very important to see how far along that could actually go. I would say, is there a realistic scenario where it could happen? Yeah, I think so. Not this year, but as a redshirt freshman or a sophomore, his second year, sure, I could say yeah.
Here's what I think they would like the quarterback room to look like. This is out of character for a Rule to be chasing. Okay, chasing big names. Also for it to be public.
Yeah,
because remember last year, December 17th, Sims wasn't really attached to Nebraska.
Right.
December 18th, he said he's coming to Nebraska. So this is a little out of character for Rule, and I don't think this will be his game plan moving forward, this quarterback room, because he still values the high school kid. Ideally, we'd all like to have a guy that is an older guy and a younger guy. But I wonder if Purdy is their quarterback portal 2 guy.
Yep.
Is their quarterback room, is McCord or anybody that is just a one-and-done guy a bridge? Because I'm going to bring this name up again. Alex Mansky.
25.
From Algona, Iowa. This staff loves that kid. They think that kid can be in the NFL. They think that kid could start as a freshman. Now, he hasn't committed anywhere, and Nebraska's been on his trail for a while. They love Alex Mansky. If they got a commitment from Alex Mansky, I truly believe that they think he could start at some point during his freshman year. And that would then reconfigure the quarterback room where it would be more high school guys than portal after portal after portal. They're probably always going to have to chase a portal guy, but they don't want to chase a tier 1, 1.5 tier guy. They would like to go maybe a 2 or a 3 if they have to, because they would like to supplement instead of a guy that they've got to go strictly on production over potential because he's got to come in and play. So I think a McCord would be a bridge guy if they're able to land the quarterback that they want in 25.
Yeah, and I think that is something that kind of gets lost into it of what that quarterback, Kyle McCord for this example, that Nebraska's been linked to. What can that guy do from a production standpoint? But I think it is. It's also very important to look at how that can impact not only the quarterback room in 2024, but also what that does for the development of the future of that position too. Because I know a lot of people want to talk about Danny Kaelin, but Mansky, again, hasn't committed, but it sounds very promising that Nebraska's in a good spot with him. That how would that also put in the development and what you could have in place for if you decide to turn it over to a freshman? Are you in a stable place around him in that quarterback room as well? Do you have guys around him? Danny Kaelin, one step further, guys that you're not putting the weight of the world on an incoming freshman to start, but you have guys around him that competition can be healthy to where if he does earn that job, it's not going to be out of desperation, in my opinion.
All right, here is Michigan Lance. Hello.
Morning, boys. A lot going on in the past week.
Hey, bear down, Lance.
Weekend some days. Hey, man. Hey, it's been a great week. Michigan the week before, and here come the Bears against the leading NFC North team Lions, man. So that it's been a great week and a half or whatever.
Hey, doesn't the Lions feel like a one and done team?
They kind of do, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, but I mean they gotta get there. I mean, they haven't been to the playoffs, so I mean that's still a great season if they do that. I mean, so I gotta misquote our guy Bo Pelini for the past week.
Is this from from years ago that you're going back?
Yes, yes, I'm going back.
All right.
For what's happened in college football the last week and 3 or 4 days, whatever it is, the SEC. That's why they made that call. You got Texas and Alabama in the playoffs.
A little bit worried, aren't you? A little bit worried.
Then not at all. Hey, not at all. And I'm gonna tell you why in a second.
Dice up your secondary.
I am not. My man can't even throw an accurate hitch route.
Did you see that throw in the Auburn game?
One throw.
Beautiful in the back of the corner there.
And then go check out a hitch route that he threw 3 feet above a guy. Good thing he was that athletic to go.
Not all throws are created equal.
I mean, geez. And so you got that, right? You got the college football playoff because Texas is now the SEC according to ESPN. Once that game was over, they're SEC. Then they come back and Jaden Daniels wins the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I voted for him.
Okay.
I had
That's fine.
Daniels, Penix Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr. was my third.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Wow, he was third?
Hey.
Yeah, I would have had Penix and Harrison over Jaden Daniels. I mean,
it wasn't a great year.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, I agree. So don't go with the guy that went 9-3. I mean, they had a good year.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, it's a debate that we're going to have in that world. It just was not. It was not just because it was a close race doesn't mean it was a great race.
No, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing with
agree.
you. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm just like Jaden Daniels is the Heisman Trophy winner. Like this guy, I'm not saying he's bad. It may sound like I'm saying he's bad. I'm not saying that. And his stats were, they were unbelievable. I mean, but we've had people with a lot of stats that didn't win Heisman trophies. Tim Couch, Graham Harrell. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, the guy went 9-3. I mean, winning used to mean. Yeah.
It did.
Anyway.
It did. This was an odd year. There was a very nondescript that there really was no Heisman moment for anybody that was in the top 4.
Right. So go with what you saw with your eyes all season. See, we don't even do that anymore.
Jaden Daniels wasn't doing work, Lance. That LSU defense was gave up 60 a game.
Work. I'm not saying he wasn't doing work because also stats are misleading. When are you getting those stats? Are they at the end of those 3 losses? Like don't. That's like the guy on a basketball team or a losing football team that's putting up stats, but they're losing. Like, oh, look at the stats. Yeah, okay, what's their record?
So I didn't look at stats, okay? And there's the debate about outstanding to elite. I looked at what I like and what I saw as a difference maker. Now, is there much difference between Daniels and Penix Jr.? Absolutely not. It was Daniels was 1, Penix was 2 in my book.
Okay.
And if Penix, and you know what, Lance, if Penix would have won, I would not have been upset.
It would have been a travesty.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody would have.
I definitely get that. And okay, and because here's my thing, like, Washington, we like this. Also has been the year of like praising people who haven't won, like the Oregon coach, right? Oh, he's the next hot guy, and he's he's out of Georgia, and look at what he's doing, and they're going to beat Washington. Then they lose to Washington. Well, they lost to Washington because Washington was at home. They're going to beat them in the championship. Well, they beat them again in the championship. Well, they only won by 3 points. Well, hold on, man. Like, the guy lost. Like, y'all try to appoint him as the best top next guy, and Washington beat him. Like, Washington they did it twice, so it's been a weird year to where a lot of people have been trying to get pushed to the forefront and aren't there yet. So, I mean, even like Texas.
You sound nervous about your matchup at the Rose Bowl.
Hey, you know what? No, listen, I don't even care. Actually, I'm happy that an SEC school, whether it was Bama or Georgia, I'm glad they're there, because when we win the championship, nobody can say, well, you didn't go through the SEC, so it didn't really matter. The SEC, you know what I mean? No, I want them in there. So then once we beat them and win a national championship, there's no excuses. You can't say signs. You can't say, well, you didn't beat the big bad SEC, who was a horrible conference this year. So no, I want that. Now, the Texas, Florida State, I don't, I'm not mad about Texas being in there either. Florida State, I heard the ACC commissioner didn't vote for the 12-team playoff this year. He voted against it to have it this year. So, I mean.
Well, Lance, it wasn't just him. It was the alliance, the Big Ten, Pac-12, ACC alliance that held things up. Yeah. Remember we were all trying to figure out our favorite alliance moment? There you go.
Right.
Florida State will be in a new league.
Yep.
The ACC didn't go to bat for him. Greg Sankey went to bat for Alabama. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter because Texas, even if Georgia had won, Texas was going to be in the Final Four. Florida State would have been out. I said this last Monday, Lance. The committee made a mistake. If they were going to follow the protocol of, Jordan Travis is out, they should have done it the week before they played in the ACC. They should have moved them to 5 before they played in the ACC championship.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
they did.
exactly.
They did.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Like, how do you drop that far from winning? Like, that doesn't make sense. But I don't. Listen. I'm not crying for Florida State. I'm not crying. Georgia. I mean, Georgia has a strong argument. I believe. I mean,
yeah.
Even though it's hard, but man,
been a good year would have been a good year to be at 8.
Yeah,
I don't want to go 12. Yeah. It would have been a good year to be 8.
I agree. Yeah. Like 6, 8. Yeah, we don't need to. I mean, guys, Iowa's going to be in there one time. What? Yeah. I mean, not next year. Oh, speaking of Iowa, hey, is the Hawkeyes going hard after that Mansky kid?
Yes, they are.
Okay, I was about to, they should be throwing a lot of zeros at him. Like, get somebody to jumpstart your program.
Well, as long as the kid still knows that Brian Ferentz is from behind the curtain going to control that offense, it's okay.
There's no way that's gonna right. No, he has to be removed from campus, doesn't he?
Yeah,
They should put a restraining order on him.
Wow. Yeah, he gone. Hey, Lance, we got to move on. I appreciate the call as always.
Hey, thanks, fellas.
All right, roll tide.
At least appreciate that Brian Ferentz did go back to some Hawkeye logo stuff in the championship.
Hey, we got to go to a break here, but can I bring something up about Colorado? And Colorado's had a interesting week. All right, they lose some guys, then they gain some offensive linemen, and they lose some guys. Are we overlooking the fact, and if Colorado has to be, a win or two better than they were this year? Are we not bringing up the fact when we talk about Colorado that they are going to an easier conference?
Yeah, they are.
They're going to
the
Big 12.
Yeah, they are.
Can we say that out loud?
Yeah.
So they're going to be in a better spot next year simply because they're in a less difficult conference.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely they are. I think people is it
watch
me or
Willie
people,
Fritz at Houston,
is it me or people forgot that they are actually going to the Big 12? I swear, people forget about that. It's not talked about that
I
much.
haven't. I'm excited to get my road trip back.
Yeah. It's just it's not discussed as much. It's more of the roster of Deion, and you know that there's only a couple of teams left over in the Pac-12, but Colorado's heading to the Big 12. Forgot about that.
where the coaching is okay, not as good as the Big Ten. Where does Nebraska's staff rank when it comes to coaching in the Big Ten? Not just the head coach or the coordinators, but I look at the Big Ten and people are building up their staffs. A guy left a head coaching job. His team is in the Final Four.
They win championships.
He's won a national championship. He left yesterday to go be the linebacker coach at USC.
Yeah.
The linebacker coach. Jonathan Smith is putting together a really good staff.
Previous head coach of that school went on to be a head coach at Kansas State.
Yeah. All right.
He just got tired of those winners.
Yeah, that
finally won.
I get that.
That's a huge pickup for A&M getting Colin Klein out of K-State.
Going from Fargo to Southern Cal.
Coaching matters, and it's not just the guy that has the business card in the big office in the corner. And that is becoming more of a thing in the Big Ten and will be moving forward with the 4 that join. We'll dive into that a little bit later. Jacob Bigelow, Amy Just. We'll talk about Nebraska's win yesterday against Michigan State. What does that mean moving forward as now everybody takes off for finals?
Mm-hmm. And then you get K-State on
finals
Sunday.
are not like they used to be. Remember, you used to have dead week?
Yep.
And then you'd have finals?
Yeah.
Like, most people have already taken their finals and they're already out.
Mm-hmm.
Our neighbor who lives across the street that is a Lincoln sophomore, I believe. Yeah, she was already home on Friday.
6
Done
weeks
with finals. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought finals were this week.
She's throwing a party Friday. You're invited.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's just like, oh, yeah, if you want to take them now, go ahead. To hell with the finals. If you're prepared now, you don't need that dead week, then go ahead. I would have done that if that was available. Would have gone ahead and taken my D.
They
C's
get
get
degrees.
degrees.
Well, so
D's,
do Ds.
D's can get degrees too. That's true.
We'd like to say hello, a special welcome to the show today. Out there listening while he's driving around the metro. Cody Wooddeal, who was the tight end coach at Miami, is in our town today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He just offered Chase Lofton at Elkhorn North.
All right.
He's driving in his car. Hello, Cody.
Hi, Coach. Enjoy your stay.
Let us know when that Culver's on Maple is going to open.
8:28 mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Hey, he may stop by because he might need a new vehicle. They really don't have any Woodhouse Buick GMCs in Miami. I've checked. They only have them here in Omaha, and this one is at 119th and I, where you could shop there first and experience the difference. They got a large indoor showroom. It's cold outside. You don't want to be wandering around outside looking for a vehicle. Nope. At 119th and I, they say, come on inside. All the new and pre-owned inventory, stylish SUVs, also capable trucks to get the job done. They make car buying simple with their streamlined process, and they got simply something for everyone. Right now, the 23 GMC Acadia AT4 all-wheel drive. It's got smart slide, second-row seats, available dual sky-shaped sunroof. Plus, it's got the Pro Safety Plus and also the Buick Envision Preferred all-wheel drive, something I'm currently driving. I love it. It's got Amazon Alexa built in. Plus, it's got the most important Buick driver confidence. It's got driver assistant technology as well. See, these vehicles and more, and they both have great deals on them. One off MSRP, the other on a lease deal. See them in person, 119th and I, or online anytime at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Have dynamic divisions. You can literally do that by saying, all right, well, we're going to match up the teams that we have scheduled against each other, and they're in one division, and the other group is in the other side. Hell, you could change them every year if you wanted to, but at least you have structure of this team's going to have the best record on this side, and your tiebreakers are going to work.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Bright and mild for your Monday with the high today in Omaha of 47 degrees. Light winds out of the southwest up to 10 miles an hour. Mostly clear skies becoming partly cloudy overnight. Chilly and a tad breezy. Southwesterly winds shifting out of the north up to 15 miles an hour. A low of 24. Meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Drain Time-Saving Traffic Center, we have one accident to report eastbound along Highway 370 at the JFK, and you can expect delays of up to 10 minutes in that area. Then along L Street, there's going to be a significant slowdown from 90th to 108th, and on Dodge, be prepared for just a little bit of slowdown from 94th to 90th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
Have yourself a classic little Christmas. Give Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets and Lotto tickets as gifts. They're fast, fun, easy, and make great stocking stuffers, party favors, or last-minute presents. Top prize odds vary by game.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. The year is coming to a close, and you might have money sitting in your flex plan or in your health savings account. If so, it is time for an early holiday gift for yourself. It has now been almost 6 years since I ditched those glasses for good. I had been wearing them for close to 2 decades. Book an appointment today. Give them a call at 402-558-2211 or visit their website and take the vision quiz today. It's KuglerVision.com.
Here's a little Christmas tip. Never ask Santa for adult beverages. Seriously, can you imagine the legal implications of carrying quality, locally brewed Nebraska beer or cider while flying a sleigh? So if you want your family and friends to gift you some Nebraska brewed awesomeness, ask and ye shall receive. Your local Nebraska Brewers Guild wants you to know that local brewers are currently working on special seasonal brews to make your holiday get-togethers merry and bright. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Looking for a unique gift for your friends and family? Any size gift card will fit every homeowner or gardener on your list. We're your one-stop shop and homegrown headquarters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lenaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Hey, you. The one on the couch who just told your friend you can't go out because you're busy? Ready to get real about your psoriasis? When your current treatments don't do enough to help control the inflammation beneath the skin, causing plaques and pain, stressing and scratching, it's time to stop hiding and get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Made an executive decision for the show and all of our listeners. We're going to wherever the Army-Navy game is next year.
All right.
They do have a Radio Row. Everybody says that after you watch it on TV of Army-Navy that it's on your bucket list. We now need to, we don't know how much longer we got on this earth.
I'd still like to see it in Philadelphia.
It was awkward in Foxborough.
Yeah.
And really awkward with Robert Kraft on the set and McAfee saying, basically intimating that you're going to have to fire Belichick, and
Right.
which was not cool. because then Belichick shows up, and Belichick was great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had
the headgear and everything.
62 Army helmet.
Yeah.
That was weird. But the bucket list, we got to start doing these bucket list things. I'm advising people, if you got something on your bucket list, you want to go to Tampa to see a Nebraska volleyball Final Four, go. Okay, don't worry about the money. Just call up your favorite travel agent or look at the Google flights, see the best price. Get yourself to Tampa. We got to start going to these bucket lists. We always say, Army, Navy on the bucket list. I'm done. I'm going to Army, Navy next year, and I'm going to take the show because they have a Radio Row, and they do pay for radio stations to come out there. So I got to watch this thing because I think it is so cool that the losing team has to sing first.
Yeah.
And the winning team sings second. How cool is that? You know, the march into the stadium, all of that stuff, just the whole thing. And then the debacle for people that had the under on Saturday. But it's just like it's a great culmination to the regular season of college football. Yep. And I told myself watching it in a hotel room on Saturday, I'm there. I'm there next year.
It's appropriate that you get that on the, I mean, even if we want to call it Heisman Saturday, but you get that on the very last week of college football, the regular season. They get its platform. It gets its stage of its own. It should. And then I was talking to somebody about the Saturday night too, with all the changes that have gone on in college football and conference realignment. You get a lot of the different generational thoughts on it of people who just do not recognize college football right now, and they can't stand it, and they're gonna be at the top of the mountain just screaming about how college football has changed. And then you got a younger generation a little bit more open to the movement of the game and are just kind of adapting and adjusting to the things that have changed college football. If there is one constant that I think can excite both generations when it comes to watching college football, especially the more traditionalists, it's that game, because none of it has changed other than now the change of venue. Everything is exactly the way it's been. And I hope that's a tradition. Style. Yeah, exactly. And I just hope it's a tradition that is never ever going to change, other than, okay, we might rotate a couple of the different venues.
So ESPN buys it and throws an SEC team in there.
Like I'm all in on the service academies after being out in Colorado Springs a couple of weeks ago. And we were in the same hotel as Air Force and watching them go about their protocol on game day.
I like
and then off to the stadium and seeing a game there. I'm like, you know what? There's something special. But the Army Navy game is a bucket list. Stop saying we got all these sports bucket lists. If you want to go to the Final Four in volleyball, go. You want to drive? It's a little bit of a lengthy drive.
21 and a half hours.
Yeah.
Break it up.
Took me so I was 2 hours south of there. It took me 25 to drive to Omaha because you hit Nashville and you hit Atlanta. Traffic. You hit St. Louis as well.
Where'd you typically stay?
Kansas City.
Where was the halfway point that you
stayed somewhere in Kentucky.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I went 13 and 13.
Okay.
Yeah, that last hour driving up 29 to Omaha.
Yeah, I can just get me here, damn it.
All right, Larry writes into the Equitable Bank inbox. A lot of discussion today about quarterbacks. Of course, Kyle McCord and Julian Fleming are going to make a visit here to Nebraska. They're not a package deal. Doesn't mean they're not both going to say yes, but it's not like if Fleming says I'm coming to Nebraska, that means McCord is, or vice versa.
Right.
So you have to treat it like that. Larry writes in, all for the McCord play. Get him here. Completely agree with the concept that we'll have two starting quarterbacks in 2024 due to injuries. Yep. Part of the game. With that said, I hope we continue to see improvement from both Purdy and Harbert. I really see potential in Purdy and hope to see more of him. While running back and wide receiver rooms need transfer portal help. That is from Larry.
Yeah, I would agree with just about everything Larry said. And that's the part about Purdy. I find myself at the end of last season very fascinated to what a healthy Chubba Purdy in an offense that he seems a lot more comfortable with than he did with the previous one with Mark Whipple, that what it could look like and what type of stability that he could provide in that room, even not as the starting quarterback.
John writes in, the Northwestern Red Raiders football team out of Orange City, Iowa. I'm more of a Morningside guy with the former Bellevue West quarterback. He's now graduated. Joe Dolenchek winning national championships, but they play against each other. They're rivals. Northwestern in the NAIA national championship game for the second consecutive year. They won last year. If you want to see a crappy game, this is it. What?
Well, why would we want
I know
to see
this
that?
is NAIA,
Vikings Raiders
but the game is
yesterday?
at 11 a.m. on Monday, December 18th. That is ridiculous. Whoa.
Monday, December 18th at 11 a.m.
Why is it on a Monday?
Right.
Somebody
why is it
check
11
into
a.m.?
that. Why is that game on a Monday? Now, that is disrespectful. In the past, it's been on a Saturday. I was in Sioux City when Morningside won the national championship, and it was in the bars on a Saturday night.
That's awesome.
You probably asked me what I was doing on a Sioux City on a Saturday night.
Drinking.
Oh, I don't think I need to ask.
West Side Boys basketball was playing at the Tyson Events Center.
I wasn't judging.
So take that, Damon. Yes, we stayed overnight in Sioux City. He busted my chops for that. He's like, who stays overnight in Sioux City? I'm like, I want to go to the casino.
Well, yeah. Did you have fun?
And I wanted to go to the Wiener Factory.
Enough said.
Wait, the what?
So right downtown. That's not what the name of the place is.
Well, because I know they have the big Tyson plant there.
It is
Wiener Factory could be something else.
It's a hot dog place. It's right across the street from Tyson Event Center. It's right across the street from the casino.
Chicken and wieners.
Well, they also have a really good chicken place which has a buffet, which I stopped at as well.
Okay.
All right.
They
so
should.
there's my love for Sioux City. Joey, Bellevue West Joey writes in, boy, I heard some controversy in the Millard North Bellevue West game the other night.
Uh-oh.
Bellevue West bounced back and beat Pius, though. I'm taking McCord every day that ends in Y. Not sure what folks are complaining about. We were a competent quarterback. There we go. That's the line that we all love. Away from bowling. Yes, I will take him. Fans, stop complaining about everything. So this leads to like the checklist. When I say, how does Nebraska's coaching staff match up with the rest of the Big Ten? You know, Nebraska's been through it one time. So I think that was valuable to Rule. So now he knows once you get into it, it's a more physical conference. I think he was already aware that the coaching in the league is top notch.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be on it every day. I mean, not just Saturdays. You got to be on it every day. So my checklist for Nebraska's offseason would start with Tony White at the top.
Yep. And
make sure you figure out the Tony White situation. They figured it out.
Yeah.
He's a rich man.
Mm-hmm. And he should be.
Hey, boys, isn't it crazy to think? Could Nebraska have a quarterback that makes more than their OC?
Yeah. It's kind of that's true. I mean, you think about like the high-paid assistants, the high-paid coordinators, and the going rate of doing business with a quarterback transfer portal. Yes.
What if Nebraska had a DC that makes 1.6, a quarterback that makes 1.5, and an OC that makes 1.4?
Is there a power struggle then? The dynamic of that conversation
I'm
change
only
a little
listening
bit?
to Tony White and Matt Rule.
Right. I look at the different tax bracket right now, buddy. Sorry, you're one step below me.
Okay. Number 2 on the list, figure out your quarterback room. What you like in-house and what you got to do and who likes you out of the house.
Yeah.
Okay, they've done that. They've been very aggressive. You cannot knock them for doing that. I mean, they said, portal's open. Here we go. We got a Milwaukee Wiener House is what it's called. Thank you, Rich.
The Milwaukee Wiener House.
Yeah, good hot dogs there. Kind of a family place.
Okay.
All right. So you get the quarterback room figured out. Number 3 is this might even be moved up. In-game management. Nebraska could have Kyle McCord. They could have Gary Sharp. They could have Cam Ward. They could have Jaden Daniels, who, by the way, wanted to take a visit to Nebraska as a high school player. He wanted to take a visit because he wanted to talk to Mario Verduzco. It never worked out.
Everybody did.
He ended up at Arizona
But
State.
did you just put Gary Sharp amongst those other 3?
Yeah, because this is what I'm getting to.
Man.
If you continue to have bad in-game management, it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. Jerry Taggy could come back and play quarterback. You got to get the in-game management figured out. If you don't, Nebraska's got no shot.
Yeah.
They might have talent to get you to 500, get you to a bowl game, but is that where you want to be? You got to figure out the in-game management. Number 4 is you have to figure out the running back room. I'm not super comfortable. Yeah, there are bodies in there. There are some unproven guys.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find out more about Emmett Johnson. You might have an injury-prone Gabe Irvin. What does Ramir look like? What does Quentin Ives look like? There is no Lacey. He's going to Alabama. I miss him. That's a huge miss. But I think the 2 weakest links on your coaching staff are your running back coach and your quarterback coach. Have you fixed those in the offseason?
The personnel-wise.
So those are things like when I'm leading to where does Nebraska's coaching match up in the league?
Yeah.
Okay, those are your 2 weakest things. Compare them around the league to how running backs and quarterbacks are coached. Is Nebraska super far off? Or are they, okay, we can manage?
I would think now number 3 on that list is the one that concerns me the most and the one that unfortunately we're not going to know until you get into September. And that is the in-game management. That's the one that kind of follows Matt Rule a little bit. And this is something that when you say you got to address it, you got to fix it. All right, is that how you communicate? Is that as simple as, who's upstairs, who's down on the sideline? Is that who's calling your offense. How is that?
How about forward
changing?
thinking? Okay.
Right.
If we do this, it's going to get us this. So it's going to put us in a position to do that.
Right. And how you're weighing your analytics compared to what you're actually seeing play out in front of you, which I think escaped that sideline several times. So then fast forward to running back coach, quarterback coach. I think we've spent a lot of time on quarterback coach. Is Marcus Satterfield going to be the guy who's overseeing quarterbacks going forward? Or is he going to be maybe working with tight ends? We know that he's still going to be the offensive coordinating role.
Hey, isn't it still wild? I know we kind of touched on this. I mean to interrupt here, but I'm just going to add to your point. That for the first time, the head coach acknowledged that Satterfield was not the first quarterback choice.
Yeah.
That was kind of okay.
Yeah,
that's something that sat with me for.
And I didn't know. I didn't know if he would, but the fact that he did does make me think that it is definitely on the agenda. At least trying to see every option that is available, and this is also, I think, doing Marcus Satterfield a favor as well of putting him in a position to succeed. I think that there's no question that he would rather be in that role as the OC, but also overseeing the tight ends, and he would be overlooking the quarterbacks, especially a group that, as we've spent a lot of time today talking about, had a lot of issues and having to create ways to try to keep them successful, or at least give the offense the best chance to be successful. Running back is an interesting thing, and I think there was a lot of positivity around E.J. Barthel, and I think when you look back at the spring and you look back and even going into the fall and the way that group was moving forward, but despite the injuries, and hey, that's part of it. You can't have the conversation about E.J. Barthel and maybe the lack of development with running backs without talking about the injuries, but one of the guys I was most intrigued to watch, and this was before the injury, was Gabe Ervin. Seeing a healthy Gabe Ervin and what he was going to provide to that offense and all of the things that we heard from this coaching staff about Gabe Ervin impacting this offense, I did not see a major jump forward. So if you are to look at that room right now and say, okay, we got a healthy Gabe Ervin coming back, I mean, that's not an easy injury to come back from and what he's dealt with. I'm still completely on the fence. I don't even know if I'm on the fence. I'm skeptical of Gabe Ervin, but he represents what you need in that running back room as far as size. When you look at the able bodies they have, let's say Ramir comes back and he showed the shoulder injury, not nearly as concerning as what Gabe Ervin's dealing with. Ramir is also not an every down back. He plays bigger than he is, but where's that 6 foot, 215 plus type of guy that you can have sort of in Gabe Ervin? But I don't want to say I've seen everything I need to see out of Gabe Ervin, but I'm highly skeptical. So that's a big part of it. And then if you do bring in, say you do get a younger high school running back that has a bigger frame, are you confident with the development
There's
there?
ghosts going on there.
Right.
That's not happening. So that leads me to believe that
Is that exactly the issue? Is could there be a change there at some point?
All right. Finally figured out this morning who Sydney Sweeney is, boys. So as everybody does when they go to airports, they walk into the Hudson News and they look at that $9 bottle of water.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at Maxim. That's the cover. I was not. Okay.
You were reading the articles?
But I always like to go and, because I'm a cheapskate, I grab the paper and pull out the sports page and read the sports page while I'm standing there in these Hudson Newses.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sydney Sweeney is on like a ton of covers. I didn't know who she was. Now she's appearing with the guy from Top Gun, Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
Are they doing something? Because she's hot.
Yes. She looks like.
So
she's not unattractive.
So yeah, she's a very attractive young woman, but she is on like 5 different covers this week. So it's Kelsey and Swift. It's they're on a bunch of stuff, and then it's Sydney Sweeney. And so I'm like, who is that? Now and they must be doing a movie, right?
I think so.
Like, what is her background?
Okay. So Sydney Sweeney is a actress. She's best known for her HBO drama series Euphoria.
Okay. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I've just not seen it.
Same.
All right.
And,
so good on her. She's very popular.
Yes. And she's on the cover of Women's Health.
All right.
Oh,
sorry. That was the squirrel that was in the room. It's on the Today Show.
She's holding a volleyball in Women's Health. Did she have a volleyball background?
I don't know.
Maybe it's not the background. She's holding it.
She went to UCLA.
Oh my God. College volleyball gets better and better.
Big Ten gets better and better.
Hey, Sydney Sweeney, come on down to Tampa.
I don't know if she actually played, but she did go to UCLA.
Look at see if she looks like she's very athletic.
Yeah, she is.
She looks like a libero.
Yeah, I can see that.
She ain't no Lexi Rodriguez.
You're on the gram, Nick. You can find her. I'm sure she's there.
Get all those reels popping up. What's going
A
on
question here for the group. This comes from, let me search this. We've had a lot of activity today. I can't wait for the crossover. All right, here was a question from Saturday's epic night at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. This is from Adam.
Wait, Saturdays? The concert?
No, at the Bob Devaney Sports Center on
Oh,
Saturday.
the Bob. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Pinnacle Bank Arena. My bad. I need to get the crap out of my ears.
Would you go to Old Dominion?
Yeah, Old
Were they
Dominion was
performing?
Saturday. Yeah, and then there was Seasons Beatings on Friday.
Who?
The MMA event at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Seasons Beatings.
I thought that was
Nice
a group.
name.
I know that would be actually a cool group too. Seasons
Was
Beatings.
Brad Nessler there as well? Because somehow Brad Nessler was commentating on SmackDown the other night.
Yeah. Hey, maybe he was part of Seasons Beatings.
Most notable fan in attendance at the Bob Saturday night. Baylor Shireman or Matt Rule?
Now remember, Matt Rule, a lot of those big games couldn't go to the Wisconsin one because he's just zonked after games.
So people that have been following on TikTok, Allie Batenhorst and Baylor Shireman are dating.
The ultimate.
So
chase
she had a TikTok out where she was at, I think it was the Creighton, North Dakota State game, that she was, and can he get her better seats? Like she was like across from the visiting bench.
Yeah.
we could probably get her better
so
seats.
he has been in Lincoln.
And he's been behind
Now-
their bench.
Now, can we start this? I don't know if this is true, but there's a lot of stuff that are said on this radio station that isn't true. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Just call us Carissa Thompson.
Baylor Shireman was dressed head to toe in red.
Yeah.
He even had red pants on.
Ah.
Now I don't know if that's true.
Oh, I don't know if there was red
I don't
pants.
know. I don't know if that's true or not, but that sounds really good right now.
I hope it is.
Because I have been told that he would not be caught dead in red. But
So
Baylor, sometimes
Okay,
hey,
Dion.
look at my personal life. Sometimes you got to do things for love
Mhm.
that you don't want to do, like you adopt a cat. Okay?
Whoa, did you just bury the lead?
when did you adopt a cat?
Long time ago.
Oh, you're a
Then-
cat guy.
Then I unadopted it.
Oh.
I said, hey, here's A1A. Why don't you take a trip? Just kidding. Just kidding.
We're
Just
gonna get
kidding.
phone calls
Just
for that
kidding. That he does not wear red, but
Should
he
tell
does support
Amy
his
that when she
girlfriend.
comes on.
But is he in blue?
Is he wearing blue in that game?
Yeah. Did he wear blue when he was at the Bob?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay.
No, it'd stand out.
Maybe he was in black.
Yeah.
Black is a safe color.
Yeah.
Just go with the nice neutral color. Maybe go Carhartt
Hey.
like Brian Ferentz.
Once you go black, you never
Logoless.
go back because it's safe and it is trimming.
Wait, what are we talking about now?
I like to wear black.
Black's a good look.
It's trimming.
It is.
It
is a slimming look.
It hides some of the tires.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That's why
It's a known fact.
This is why we need black zone shirts. We don't have any.
Yeah.
We just have that ugly gray color.
Yeah, and red. I'm not a fan of red because I'm a ginge. Red and ginge
Okay.
is we don't.
right.
Yeah, so I try to limit.
Fair.
Like if there's a white, gray, or black color scheme that I can go with, other than red, I'll
Always black.
choose that every day of the week.
Always black.
Yeah, black's fine. I'm okay with black. White's a little too revealing.
Will Baylor fly from Vegas to Tampa to support his girlfriend on Thursday?
Yes.
And then come back, play against Alabama, and then fly back to Tampa
Ooh.
He's young. He can do it.
aboard that
Ooh.
private jet.
Ah.
Going from Vegas to Tampa, then back.
Take a
home.
nap.
Ooh. It's the Vegas to Tampa flight that concerns me if I'm a Creighton fan.
I mean, if he goes out after the game, sure,
mean,
but
That dude is shooting. He could get buckets in his sleep right now. The way Baylor
Yeah.
is playing.
He's played well. You don't want to do anything to derail that.
All right.
Don't be jet lagged.
Tyson Walker didn't get buckets in his sleep or awake yesterday from Michigan State. There was a reason why.
Mhm.
We will discuss it. Jacob Bigelow, Amy Just will join us in the next hour. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is your home for the big game. Whether it's the NFL or a rivalry on the hardwood, you will find all the action on Oscar's top-of-the-line audio-video system. With 40 TVs and massive dual projectors, the game has never looked better. Pair that with their award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has everything you need. 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Since 1972, family-owned and locally roasted Host Coffee Service has been roasting the finest coffee for businesses and restaurants. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Creighton Sports Update. Hey, Blue Jay fans, it's basketball season here at Creighton. So get your tickets and come out and support your Blue Jays. For tickets, go to Ticketmaster.com, gocreighton.com/tickets, or visit the ticket office located at Ryan Athletic Center. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Tailgate parties call for burgers, brats, dogs, and whatever else you could slap on a bun. But those burgers, brats, dogs, and whatever else deserve the best buns. And the best buns come from Rotella's Italian Bakery. Crazy fresh, crazy delicious. So for your next party, pick some up at the bakery off 108th and Harrison or at your favorite grocery store. Fire up your grill and get ready for kickoff. Rotella's Italian Bakery, more than 100 years of tradition. Hey, can I get a burger with some cheese, lettuce, and tomato? Thanks.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, Ross. Maybe we have to bring Ross on. So Ross is an Ohio State fan. So him and I have had a lot of discussions about McCord and Fleming and stuff.
Yes.
He says, how about a shout out to former Bennington native, Pete Sturbick. I think his dad was the head coach at Bennington back in the day. He is now the head coach of the Ore Diggers.
Nice.
#1 Colorado Mines. They're playing for the D2 National Championship. Second straight year. They play Harding University on Saturday on ESPN. Oh, Division II National Championship in football can get on ESPN, but volleyball can't.
Yeah.
For their semifinals. Yeah, he's 43 years old. First year.
I'd wear a
hoodie. Be the AOC for a couple of years. I think he went to Augustana. I do remember him playing college football. But Colorado School of Mines is
very pretty campus area.
As a juggernaut in football.
Is that in Steamboat?
It's in Golden.
It's in Golden, okay.
You hit up the Coors Brewery and then head on to a game.
There you go. By the way, speaking of games, John wanted to reiterate that he didn't call the Northwestern game crappy. He called the game time crappy. He wanted to make that known.
I wonder, I think this is the case. No, because how long has Bob Stitt been gone from Colorado School of Mines? About a decade?
Almost a decade. Yeah, he
Okay.
went to Montana and then
Yeah, he's from Tecumseh. He was highly successful there as well.
Oh. When would the coach been at Bennington? I'm trying to remember because I remember Greg Bone was the coach at Bennington for a while. It would have to be before Greg Bone. So that would have been like, what, the 90s then? No, that can't be right. There had to be some gap there that I'm not aware of. So I remember Greg Bone being Bennington's coach up till recent memory. I don't know. I don't have my timeline in front of me on that one.
All right. No, I was looking at an email from someone. Okay. Nothing. I just
Sydney Sweeney.
An idea popped in my head. No, it was not a Sydney Sweeney.
Don't worry, we're voxing her too. We're trying to figure out if she.
I'm just glad to know who she was. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had not followed close enough, but she's.
I've
on
never
every
watched
magazine.
Euphoria. I've heard of it.
Yeah.
So that's what she's.
But we know who she is now because she was just on TV.
She was. All right. Jacob Bigelow will join us. Nebraska basketball won a game that they had to win yesterday against Michigan State. They had a horrible second half at Minnesota. That was embarrassing. But there were times to wilt yesterday. They did not. They won. That was the most important thing. And they can still be 11-2. But I'm out of the projection business because I can't figure this team out. We'll see if Jacob can figure it out as well. Also, Amy Just, who is going to be headed off to Tampa. We hope she takes her sunscreen. As Nebraska volleyball, they play Pittsburgh at 6
Oh, yeah, Gingers.
on Thursday. And then you get Texas, Wisconsin, which it's going to be a thing. It's going to be a first in NCAA history. They're both going to lose.
That would be awesome.
So the winner of Nebraska Pitt will
That's
just
the championship game.
ceremoniously be granted the national championship.
Yeah, you show up,
Steve Peterson Bowl
on the floor, and then you get presented the trophy.
What is
And
that
then
on your
check.
arm?
Is there a bug?
Is that bug again?
It's that damn bug.
It likes you.
What
I
is
thought you
going
killed
on?
it and it's back to life.
Well, I threw it away.
I've seen Pet Cemetery.
Yeah. Get off me. It looks like a lightning bug.
Did you shower today?
Yeah.
I did, actually, this morning.
Mornings with Sharpen. Pigpen. Continue.
No, this bug was around on Thursday and Friday, too.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we should kill it.
Yeah.
Is it
Thought I
trying to
did.
get a show on the zone?
I honestly thought I did.
Jacob, Amy, back to back, coming up in the last hour. Mornings with Sharp and Handley, a bug, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Drain Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have one accident to report eastbound along I-80 at I-680 that has the right lane blocked, so please be cautious if you're in that area. Along Dodge, be prepared for a little bit of slowdown from 94 to 90th, and along Industrial Road, be prepared for traffic to build up quite a bit near 138th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
What does Saul's loan on? Almost everything, like jewelry, gold chains, bracelets, earrings, wedding rings, and high-end watches, guns, electronics, $10 to $50,000, super fast and easy with no credit check. Saul's loans on almost everything.
Need a feast to feed the family? Godfather's Pizza has you covered. Build your own feast. Choose a medium specialty pizza, a medium one-topping pizza, and a side, like my new bacon ranch cheese sticks. Freshly baked, loaded with mozzarella cheese, tangy ranch, and topped with an abundance of bacon. Do yourself a favor and build your feast today. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Our Cox mobile plans are like a band. The more people you add, the better it sounds. So, add more lines to save more. Pay as low as $30 per line when you add 4 or more gig unlimited lines. It's easy. I like the sound of that. Visit cox.com/mobile. 4 lines required for $30 per line price. Max of 5 lines. Prices exclude taxes, device activation, and other fees and charges, which are subject to change. Cox postpaid internet required. Other restrictions apply.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Put your coffee department in good hands with Host Coffee Service, providing direct delivery and loaned coffee equipment with service programs. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Giving the food lover in your life a great gift has never been easier. Order gift cards fast and easy for Shuck's Fish House, Bailey's Breakfast and Lunch, and Absolutely Fresh Seafood Market online at absolutelyfresh.com and get them mailed or emailed to all your friends, family, and coworkers.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620, The Zone.
Before we welcome in Mr. Bigelow, no, I'm trying.
I'm reading your body language here.
So I don't have everybody in my phone. I have numbers, and so I have to scroll back through conversations to see who this person is. Thank you. You know who you are in the 712. It's Sneaky's Chicken, a chicken place in Sioux City.
In Sioux City. Okay.
Highly recommended. Let me just. So I just really stumbled upon something, but I was trying to connect some dots here. Glenn Thomas. No. So Glenn Thomas right now is a member of Mike Tomlin's staff of the Steelers. He's an offensive assistant.
Okay.
He's a guy that's being mentioned as possibly the new offensive coordinator for the Steelers when the season is over.
Okay.
Do you know what his connection is to Rule?
Teammates?
So, no, he was hired by Matt Rule to coach quarterbacks at Temple. Marcus Satterfield, who at the time was the offensive coordinator at Temple, went from coaching quarterbacks to running backs after Thomas was hired. Then when Satterfield was hired at Tennessee Tech, Thomas was promoted to be the OC. After Rule was hired at Baylor, Thomas joined him as the Bears' co-offensive coordinator and quarterback coach.
So what you're saying is, why is Glenn Thomas not being? Why is he not conversing with Matt Rule?
I don't know. I might have to have a Glenn Thomas discussion at some point. Let's have a discussion with Jacob Bigelow, who joins us now for the Stretch Big podcast, and he appears on our show, and now he's on every friggin' show in Nebraska, which is good for him because he dropped some knowledge, and he joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Bombs.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm in a lot better mood than I was last week. That's for sure. But I'm happy to be up and about and talking with you guys.
Hey, let's get right to it. How did Fred become unfired?
I mean, hey, what a difference a week makes in that building, huh? What a tale of two Sundays, that's for sure.
Hey, I think I said this early on this morning to Nick and Jimmy. I'm done projecting this team. I think every night is an adventure with this team, and that is either good or bad. But I'm done projecting them because you don't know what you're going to get from night to night.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Especially with how they. I mean, as cliche as it is, basketball is a make shots game, and last night Nebraska made shots. They shot 64% from the field in the second half, but the way that they were going about offense, and it kind of felt like whatever threes they were throwing up were falling, no matter how unorganized or crazy they were, whether they were Casey or Sam Hoiberg throwing one in from Kent and Jake's seats at the radio table. There was all kinds of different
CJ banking one in too.
Yep, CJ banking one in from some small town in Iowa in relation to the Nebraska border on the court. But,
Neola.
Yeah, around Neola, but
Shout
there
out
was
Kerry
it
Cohen.
it wasn't exactly it didn't look like they were really running many sets, but they made their shots, they made their free throws down the stretch to put the game on ice and got a much needed conference win. So I'm kind of right there with you though. That's not exactly a team that appears to be very projectable.
Juwan Gary, we know, got the start due to the availability or lack thereof of Josiah Alec. And I know Fred was asked about this after the game. Is that a starting combination that you foresee even when Josiah Alec is healthy?
You'd think, Juwan, there can be an argument that he has been the most impactful player for this team this season. Some people have even tried to make the argument that he is clearly the best player on the team. So you'd think that that guy who's made as big of an impact as Juwan would, eventually make his way into the starting lineup. But every time Juwan's been asked directly about it, he's not really, I still go back to, I think it was the Duquesne game. They asked him what the difference is between starting and coming off the bench. And he said he thought he could see the game better coming off the bench, because you see how you get a view from the sideline of how the opponent's coming out on defense, where they're trying to attack on O, and then you can come in and take what you've seen from the bench to the court. But I would assume that I don't know if you'd think that a guy like Gary needs more minutes and would probably work his way into the starting lineup.
Wasn't that the 20 quietest points you've ever seen?
Compare, people, it was definitely a workmanlike, quiet, 20. He made his, it was an efficient 22. I think it was on 11 shots, if I remember right. I don't have the box score in front of me the morning after, but I think it was a pretty efficient, quiet 20. And, he just, did, he had some people a little worried when he was holding his shoulder coming off the court and was getting looked at, but he was just doing what we've grown accustomed to seeing Juwan Gary do.
If you were to kind of look at Rink Mast in that, I don't want to bring up the Minnesota game, but zero offensive flow in the second half. Rink Mast was completely absent in that one. Just seeing the ball kind of go through him a lot, really throughout the entire game yesterday. Just with what they were able to do and get some shots off with the ball kind of filtering into Rink Mast, and his jersey told the story at the end of the game too, by the way. He sweats a lot. How big was that? Just in strategy against that Michigan State team, especially given how their defense was kind of struggling there? Inside, that is.
Yeah, Rink talked about it after the game. Not every day in the Big Ten that your 5-man's going to lead your team in both assists and boards. He had 14 rebounds and 6 assists last night, and he said that him and Fred had spent a lot of time watching film together, and telling Rink to not when he gets a feed to not immediately go into an action, maybe look for a read, look for a pass out, try to set somebody else up. And he was making plays last night, kind of showing some flashes of that, Derek Walker point forward stuff that we saw last year. And I think that's definitely that's not, night and day different. He was playing tough inside, and, he had to describe to somebody what it means to hit somebody on a basketball court in the post-game media last night. Yeah. But, the physicality, the playmaking, that's what they need from Rink Mast to be successful.
I love the spacing last night. I thought the spacing, body language, all of that stuff, second half of Minnesota was terrible. It was better last night. And there were reasons to say it shouldn't be, because Jamarcus Lawrence was on the struggle bus a bit. They struggled to shoot the 3 right away, and I'm thinking, here they go again, Minnesota hangover. But then Sam Hoiberg entered the conversation, and Jacob, his defense on Walker, who there's Michigan State is struggling, but Nebraska needed that win. This is about Nebraska. Has Sam Hoiberg moved Boogie Coleman out of the rotation with the way he plays for what Nebraska needs right now, if you base off of minutes that were distributed last night in key situations?
Well, it sure looked like it last night. I mean, I know Boogie Coleman's minutes, his minutes at Minnesota were not that awe-inspiring. Definitely, if I'm a coach, I definitely would not have. It looked pretty bad live. Probably looked even worse on the film for Boogie Coleman. But for us, for him to not even see the floor last night, and and Sam Hoiberg was on the court in crunch time over Jamarcus Lawrence too. He was on the court to make free throws and help ice the game away. So obviously he's shown the ability to make the smart play, make winning plays. He's a tenacious defender, and he's gonna play his heart out regardless. And they still definitely have some work to do rotation wise. But, for the time being, I think, Sam Hoiberg is definitely going to be seeing some consistent minutes every game.
We can't have a conversation about either a loss or a victory without bringing up Casey and his presence in this game, which, again, a lot more offensively active than he was against Minnesota. I continue to watch him away from the ball, and we know this about him. He works his tail off. But he's still, in my opinion, and I don't know if you're seeing this or not, maybe this is an overreaction, but he seems to get a little fatigued more. Is this a concern with him? Is this just the way he's being defended and it's getting a little bit more physical, and then at some point he'll catch up? Like, what's just kind of your read on that?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. I don't think he's ever been, a phenomenal athlete by any stretch. But I also think that the teams are going to play him tough. They're going to be attached to him. They're going to be chasing him around. I mean, I was sitting on, up there last night begging for someone in a white jersey to just set a screen for him.
Yeah.
For him to do, for him to shoot like he did. And, he was getting some tough shots off, and he made some tough ones. But I mean, you'd think it wouldn't be rocket science to set a screen away for your all Big Ten player to help him get a shot off. But I definitely, for your question, I think it would be a little bit of both. These teams are going to play him hard, play him tough. But I think it's probably a little bit of both.
Okay, so it's kind of Nick's point, and let's stay with Casey. And I'm a firm believer now that a lot of the stuff that was said about Casey in the offseason, he bought into. Okay, so now we need a reality check with Casey because Nebraska desperately needs him to be Casey Tominaga 22-23 every night. But why is, and I mean, we're talking about a guy that had 15 last night. Why is it seem like, Jacob, it's so difficult this year to incorporate a guy with Tominaga's skill set into this offense? It just seems like it doesn't flow when 30 needs to get the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest difference between this year and last year was, that down the stretch last year, we heard as much from Fred at the end of the year that the offense was screen away for Casey and find him. And in this offense this year, you've got other guys like Williams and Mast and and Gary who they can go get their own. They're going to want their shots. They're going to hunt their shots. And it's not just we're all going to go screen for one guy to try to get him open. I think it's definitely has a little to do with the roster construction. And, we talked at the beginning of the year about there being, plenty of mouths to feed, some capable guys. But that comes back to what I said. I was, just wondering what it would take for someone to just go out and set a screen for Casey. It's, to get him open and have him not have to be falling away or, contorting his body to get a shot up. But I think it has a little to do with, the roster construction and the guys on the court. And yeah, I would agree. He definitely bought into some of the love and the discourse surrounding him in the off season, but there are other guys who, they'd like to get theirs as well, it appears.
What did you take away? First of all, you had two freshmen that filled some pretty key minutes yesterday, Eli Rice, but also Matar Joe. just what you saw from Jope especially, and it sounds like Alec will have a chance of coming back here pretty soon, but just what he was able to experience against a Michigan State team like that, is that a guy that you kind of expect to see maybe some more minutes coming his way, even with a healthy front court?
Could definitely see it. I mean, a guy with that kind of athleticism, just how, he can, it definitely, was a long way last night from when he got into one of the bye games earlier in the year. And I think he had four fouls and 2 turnovers in like 3 minutes of gameplay. And, he looked the part last night out there against Big Ten competition. And, he fit in. And when you're a true freshman getting those minutes, I mean, you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. And I thought Matar, he looked the part, and he's definitely still pretty raw and has some things to work on both ends of the court. But somebody with that athleticism, if you just send him to go crash the boards and get a rebound, that's just one role to embrace for starters, and it can be impactful and help the team.
All right, Jacob Bigelow joining us. I'm going to give you a lot of power. I know you want to be a coach. I know you do. Okay, you play a coach on the radio. You're on your podcast. You want to be a coach. I hope someday you're a coach. So I'm going to let you be a coach here. You're coming out of the last media timeout with Nebraska's current makeup. Give me your 5 that you're putting out on the floor.
Ooh, you see, this could go on for a while because I could go offense, defense. No, but I think the 5 we saw last night right now. I mean, the guys you trust the most. I mean, Sam Hoiberg, Casey, Bryce, Juwan, and Mast. I think that would be the 5 right now.
I could ride with that.
In terms of trust and guys that can make free throws, and I think those are probably the most trusted guys on the roster right now. And I think when it's late and when it comes down to winning time, it's all about trust.
I also want to go back to Casey real quickly, and because we hadn't talked to you since before the Minnesota game. There was also something that kind of stood out to me last night, and watching at least him getting his shots off when he had just a little bit of space, which kind of to Gary's point, we saw a little bit of that in the 22-23 season. The Minnesota game, it wasn't that he wasn't getting the basketball, in my opinion. He seemed a little bit trigger shy. I don't know if you noticed that, and if you've found any way that Minnesota was defending him on why he was sort of giving up shots that we are used to seeing him typically take.
Yeah, I don't really. I would agree with that, but I forget the name of the guy who was defending him, but he
Carrington.
was playing him.
Yeah, Carrington.
Yep. Yeah, he had Casey in his pocket. I don't know if I've seen anybody really defend him that well or defend him that hard. I mean, we've seen opponents try to be physical, try to chase him as much as they can, but that was different, and maybe that was impacting the mental or something with Casey, but I'd agree, but I don't have any direct insight into why. I mean, they could have used any semblance of offense in that second half, and you'd think it would default to him, but it was that's for a whole nother day. But I would tend to agree with you as to how he looked that night.
Everybody knows who 30 is, whether you're rooting for Nebraska or you're rooting against Nebraska. That's also an adjustment for him. Jacob, as always, I appreciate it. Good insight, good content. Love the podcast. It's off to a really, really good start. I'm available all week if you'd like to have me on.
No, I mean, I'd love to hear.
Did you say no? Oh, no, he said no. I'm good. I thought he was going to say no. I'm good.
Wow.
No. I'd love to hear about.
Oh, I don't know.
And Lubbock and your Texas swing. I'm always down to hear about some Texas travel. So maybe we'll have to set that up.
Lots of Whataburger.
That's what I like to hear, man.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. But appreciate the time like always. And Gary, we might have to talk Mavs here before Summit League play. So maybe you could come on the pod.
Bam! That's awesome. What do you get for coming on the podcast? T-shirt? Coaster? Koozie?
Could be a koozie.
Maybe a shirt. I've got the capability to make shirts. Maybe we could start that. Maybe you could be the first time for everything.
Bam! I like that. Good stuff, my man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
That's Jacob Bigelow. Nebraska's off until they play Kansas State in Manhattan on Sunday. The Wildcats, who always play in overtime. Art Kaluma looks like he's getting rolling.
Mm-hmm. Had 25 the other nights. Yeah. That'll be fun, though.
All right. Amy just going to join us here in a little bit. Before the hour is over, not on our show, there is big news coming out of Millard North, Nick.
It's official now. It is official.
On who it is?
On who it is. Yep. They just tweeted it as well.
All right. The new head football coach at Millard North is?
It is Mr.
Nick Handley?
No, not sorry. But it is Alan Burrell, the Mount Michael head football coach.
So North Dakota State, track star, good dude out at Elkhorn Mount Michael. Not the easiest place to coach. He has been on the Millard North staff. He is now the official. I think he was offered and accepted last week, but he's officially the new head football coach at Millard North. Congratulations to him. He's a good dude. And he's going back to Millard North, and I know they had a lot of interest in that job.
Can imagine.
So good on the people that had you're replacing Fred Petito.
Yes.
And they keep it kind of in the family, so to speak.
Yeah. That's awesome. And again, for Fred and filling those shoes too, I think there was always going to be some type of maybe connection with that staff or somebody that had kind of seen how, things were done. Not saying they're going to be doing the exact same things as far as offensive and defensive philosophy, but again, understanding how important that role was going to be and really getting this football program kind of back up on its feet as well. And that consistent success that we are used to seeing Millard North football have.
All right. Amy Just is coming up next. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Previously on The Crossover.
I want to hear the thank you at the end of it, too.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. When you order a Big Mac at McDonald's.
No, thank you.
Thank you, caller Connor.
Good job, Connor.
No, thank you.
Maybe it was Connor Stallion. No.
It could have been.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Bright and mild for your Monday with the high today in Omaha 47 degrees. Light winds out of the southwest up to 10 miles an hour. Mostly clear skies becoming partly cloudy overnight. Chilly and a tad breezy. Southwesterly winds shifting out of the north up to 15 miles an hour. A low of 24. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV News Watch 7.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Brian recently had us tow his all-wheel drive Mercedes from another shop. He was told it needed a new transmission for over $4,000. As it turned out, the reason he had no Ford was because his front CV axle was bad. We replaced the axle for a few $100 and he was back on the road.
Transmission, shifting to running smooth.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and that our region has some of the highest levels in the country? Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, if you're just tuning in, Alan Burrell, the new head football coach at Millard North, going back to Millard North, great athlete up at North Dakota State. And he was recently at Elkhorn Mount Michael. Recently with us, she's headed to Tampa. I'm surprised she's not already there, is Amy Just of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Good morning.
Good morning.
No doubt, right, that you were going to Tampa?
Oh,
Nebraska,
yeah.
Nebraska was going to come through. It was not shaky at all against Arkansas. No doubt you were ready to go.
Well, that's not true, but I was mentally ready to go.
I said this earlier, and this is I can always tell in your writing, and as a columnist, you're there to tell the great stories, give some insight, but I can always tell in your writing if you have a particular fondness for the coaches or the athletes, but more on the athletes because they have stories to tell, and you like to tell stories. I know you really like this Nebraska volleyball team. I said earlier today, Amy, the season will be over a week from today, but people don't want this season to end. Why is this journey seem like it keeps adding a script and it gets better and better? Why this particular team? Why this particular year?
I just think that they're a fun group of people to watch. Like, you can tell that they really care. And it's different. It's new. Like, yes, Nebraska volleyball has been successful for a very long time. But because of all of the new faces and how fun and nice and interesting and compelling they all are, it makes it new and it makes it fresh. And it's hard to make something that has been so successful for a long time new and fun and fresh and interesting. And I just think that there's so many different, just cool pieces about this team. And I think fans feel the same way.
Amy, we're seeing this sport continue to get a lot of eyeballs on it, especially this time of the year. And as we kind of transition into the Sunday matinee national championship game on ABC, let's assume, and I don't want to assume, let's just hope that Nebraska is in it from the standpoint of the way that the season started off. And I brought this up earlier in the show, of the stage they were on, the amount of mainstream attention, not even just sports fans, but just mainstream attention, celebrities and whatnot, chiming in on what they were watching in a football stadium, Memorial Stadium, between Nebraska and Omaha. How much of that do you think can impact this final weekend of the sport, especially when it does come to viewership and overall attention of this sport?
Yeah, I think that the Sunday National Championship, regardless of who's in it, will be the highest televised volleyball game in history. I do.
Mm-hmm.
If it's Nebraska, Wisconsin, ooh boy, that is the matchup that that TV folks want. Nebraska, Texas would do really well too, but yeah, it feels like that could happen, but who knows, right? Anything can happen in the Final Four. Yep. But I think that because of what you saw earlier this year with the stadium match and the success of the Nebraska-Wisconsin match on television. Remember, more people tuned into that game than Nebraska-Northwestern football.
Mm-hmm.
And
why, but
and all of the tentacles that have grown off of that, right? That's not just Nebraska. You look at all of these schools around the country that have had greatly increased attendance, greatly increased TV viewership numbers, and I think that that's all going to come to a fever pitch on Sunday, regardless of who's in it. Because I don't know, it feels right. I haven't looked at the NFL slate, but based off this past weekend, can't be too many good games going on Sunday. So,
so two years ago, this was a banger. This was a 5-set banger in Columbus. It was an epic Saturday night championship match between Wisconsin and Nebraska, and Wisconsin won the national championship. Last year, Texas came into Omaha. They swept Louisville, and they were really, really good. The money bought them a really nice team last year. So Texas, Wisconsin, Nebraska are all back. Louisville got reverse sweep by Pitt. So 4 familiar teams are back into that setting. Nebraska has been number 1. They've only lost one time, and that was the 3-game sweep at Madison. But they rebounded the next night, and Wisconsin was out for them. But with that said, is Wisconsin the favorite, or is Nebraska the favorite to win the national championship?
I don't know, because Nebraska figured out a way to win after playing horribly for part of the 5-set match that they had at home.
Mm-hmm.
And Wisconsin had Nebraska's number in Madison. So who wins in a neutral? I don't know. I really don't know. But Nebraska has to get through Pitt first. I think Pitt is scrappy. I know that I personally wanted it to be Louisville because we love a good storyline or 2 or 3 or 4. But you cannot look past Pitt, even though I know everybody wants to. You can't. You have to play that game first. And that game worries me a little bit just because of the 3rd set struggles that Nebraska has had this postseason. But I think Nebraska could win that one in 4. But I don't know if that happens. I don't know what would happen Sunday, nor do I know which of the 2 teams that if Nebraska beats Pitt, I don't know who they'd rather have, Wisconsin or Texas.
No, go ahead.
I think fans would rather choose a meteor, to be honest with you.
We've talked about that, and
that might be option C.
Yes. Could there be a Sunday where they just show up to the arena and they're presented a trophy? I think fan base wise, you'd like that. Amy, you brought up the 3rd set issues, and I want to go back to Saturday in the 1st set of what Nebraska possibly learned from themselves. I know this time of the year you're not learning that much from yourselves because they've been through so many battles, but it was sort of an unknown Arkansas team. It was a team that had been really good in the SEC, but kind of had a different style. It obviously seemed like it took Nebraska maybe a little time to get used to and get acclimated with that. But the fact that they win that set, just do you take anything away from what really seemed like that was going to go Arkansas's way, and Nebraska was going to have to rally right after the 1st set on that Saturday where things were really going to be off schedule there?
Yeah, I think their resilience in that set says a lot. I knew that they were probably going to have issues trying to figure out Jillian Gillen because there is no one like her in major college volleyball. A 5'7" outside hitter who has the highest vertical of like anyone ever. Like, I would love to know what her vertical is because she's out there blocking and hitting alongside, your standard 6'1", 6'2", 6'4" outside hitters. Watching her was amazing. And Nebraska had no idea how to stop her. And they really didn't. The block got in her way a little bit, but she still recorded double-digit kills and had a really good day. So I think that they knew that they were going to have issues with her just because how do you prepare for that? You don't. You don't have anybody like that in your practice gym. So you just have to figure that out on the fly. And how they rallied to win that first set, that's when I knew that they were going to win, like for sure that day, even with their first set struggles.
Amy Just from Lincoln Journal-Star joining us. Amy, let me introduce you to myself. My name is Nebraska Football. I went 5-7 this past year. I haven't been in a bowl game in 7 years. I just had a season where we were in the 100s in yards per play, and I didn't have a quarterback throw for 1,000 yards. But if Kyle McCord, who was the quarterback of an 11-1 Ohio State team, says yes to Nebraska, what's the reaction?
Holy bleep. That's the reaction. I bleeped myself. But yeah, that's the reaction. That's the reaction. Like, I know that he's going to be here. I know that there's a lot of interest on it. He's not coming alone. Could you imagine? Like, that would be certifiably bananas. What is the pitch to that guy?
Well, okay, so I said this. What about a chip on the shoulder? You know, he was not the right quarterback that they're used to at Ohio State, but he was their option, and he quarterbacked them in 12 games. He won at Notre Dame, didn't win at Michigan, okay, but he still won 11-1. Chip on his shoulder. He wasn't guaranteed anything. He had a heart-to-heart with Ryan Day. Going somewhere else, the best option. Well, why not go somewhere else and say, I want to go somewhere, a place where they want me, and I'm going to be able to prove to everybody it's not just because of what we had at Ohio State. I'm a pretty good quarterback. Boom. Welcome to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, okay. I think he's an incredible quarterback. But how does Nebraska sell its offense to him after what we saw last year?
You whatever offense you want, you can run.
Yeah, you tell us. You tell us what you want to do. We'll cater to
I feel like that's got to be it, right? Like most quarterbacks, they look at this and they be like, all right, like, yeah, we've got a lot of young guys and a lot of guys who are, we have some veteran guys, but all the veteran guys that are coming back are coming off of injuries and you never know how that's going to go. So I don't know. I think having more pieces coming back on the offensive line would help him.
Yeah.
Like if Bryce Benhart comes back, which I think he could, that would be good for them. But I don't know. I will believe it when I see it. I just don't want to get anybody's hopes up. Because it feels like Nebraska, that's all Nebraska fans have done for the last 20 years is just get their hopes up for an inevitable letdown. So I'm not doing that to them.
Well, and you brought up that he's not coming alone. Now, we were kind of talking about this earlier, that it doesn't sound like, even though they're both going to be making a visit, and we're talking about Julian Fleming as well, that it might not necessarily be, okay, if you get one, you get the other. But going back to the question that you had about the pitch of a quarterback that was highly successful this last year at Ohio State, and obviously he's going to have the same type of weapons that he did at Ohio State, does it make it a little bit, again, maybe advantageous for him to look at other guys that he knows, maybe not even at Ohio State, but other guys saying, hey, if I lock it in here, are we also in the market for another receiver or another playmaker that I have connections to? I mean, can he do some recruiting for you? And might that appeal to a Kyle McCord as well?
Is this the Aaron Rodgers New York Jets? What are we doing here?
Yeah. Hey.
I think Randall Cobb is out of collegiate eligibility.
Yeah. Devontae Adams is in Vegas. But,
dang it. But, I mean, I guess it's just Nebraska is already 10 plus scholarships over.
Yeah.
And I don't think as many guys hit the portal as they expected. So not having a whole lot of turnover now, there will be a lot of turnover in the spring if there's not a lot of turnover now, just because you have to do the roster math.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I'm all for it. I would love to cover a relevant football team again. What?
I'm laughing because I think we're on the same boat.
I would like to be going to a warm weather place.
Yeah. Other than volleyball national championship Final Four, we'd like a bowl destination.
Hey, we'll get chatter on this. Last night at Pinnacle Bank Arena, Nebraska wins a game they had to win. There were times in the last 5 minutes where Michigan State made a run and they could have wilted. They didn't. They hit their free throws. They won a basketball game. Now they get a week off. The big picture, last night's win means what to Nebraska basketball?
It means that they survive for another week.
Yeah.
And I'm worried that they have another letdown at K-State. Just because this week is so stressful, y'all. Like finals and everything that comes with that, and still having to juggle practice, but you don't have a game. You've had, you won yesterday, but you had a really bad week the week before. Like, this just, K-State feels like a letdown game. And I hope it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But with everything going on, the writing is there for it to be that way, for there to be some regression. And I hope there isn't. But it's a definite possibility. So maybe I will be watching that one, but maybe I will have something else to do. We will find out.
Well, I hope you're still in Tampa. You go to Clearwater? You go to Frenchie's?
I will be in Tampa regardless of what happens. My mom lives about an hour south, so I'm staying for Christmas. Thank you, John.
Oh, that works out well.
Is she a Bradenton, Dunedin, or not Dunedin, Bradenton, Sarasota person? Lakewood Ranch?
Sarasota.
Oh, okay. Beautiful, beautiful community. Good on your mom. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's a beautiful place. All right. Have a lot of fun. Great stuff. Great stories told. Looking forward to a full week of coverage Thursday and beyond. Thank you as always.
Thank you.
That's Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star, Nebraska Pitt. Thursday night, 6 p.m. Karch Karai on the call with Paul Sunderland. I don't know if that's true or not.
That was at one point. That was the combination. We've been waiting to hear the.
All you should do the Lakers. I don't think he does that
here.
anymore.
Karch, one of the coolest dudes around.
All right, quick break. We'll come back. We'll put a wrap on this Monday edition of Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. The Huskers, and even you Jayskers. We are 1620 The Zone.
Sports fans, Let It Fly Sports Bar is your elevated sports bar experience. Located in the Capital District in downtown Omaha. Experience Let It Fly's unique brand of hospitality with 2 floors, 2 bars, 2 expansive outdoor patios, and an in-house podcast studio with live broadcast of the Let It Fly show. Hosted by me, Michael Severe, and Josh Jones. Host your next college game day watch party, private event, weekend brunch getaway, or a date night right here at the Let It Fly Sports Bar. Try our delicious brunch menu and reserve your seat for the game.
J-Tech Construction reminds you that this time of year, your home's energy efficiency is under tension. Don't let your windows cost you by raising your energy bills this winter. J-Tech Construction will come out and provide you with a free estimate on upgrading your windows and keeping your energy costs down. They have custom-made, energy-efficient windows that keep the outside out with the professional installation you would expect. Contact the official exterior and solar experts of the Huskers. J-Tech Construction, your exteriorexperts.com.
Suicide can be prevented by knowing the warning signs, and most importantly, knowing what to do if you recognize those signs in yourself, a loved one, or even a stranger. There are simple ways you can be there for someone, so they can be here for more tomorrows. Visit moretomorrowsne.org to learn the signs, how to approach the conversation, and where to get help. Or call 988 for help now. That's moretomorrowsne.org.
Dear Santa, I hope you are having a good day in the North Pole. Is it cold all the time there? Is that why your cheeks are so rosy? My mom says I'm a good helper, but you didn't come last year. Was my chimney broken? I just really hope this year when I wake up, I'm gonna see that you came to my house too.
Donate and help the Marines deliver hope to a child in need.
Good boy. At Cox, we think all customers deserve a reliable connection. So whether you're a loyal customer who's been with us for years, or you're new to the family like this little guy, you'll get the same great deals on the same great internet. And no matter who you are. See how you can save at cox.com/deals for all. Other restrictions apply, all rights reserved.
This time of year, big box tool stores start to sell a whole bunch of not tools, from dancing Santas to plastic trees. At Northern Tool and Equipment, we'd rather sell you a 4-horsepower chainsaw fitted with a full chisel chain to cut down your own tree. And we have wood chippers come January, because mulch. We're cutting prices on power tools, automotive jacks and stands, and portable inverter generators this holiday season. Save in store or at northerntool.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, here's a Christmas song for you. Let's not do that. You're invited to vote in the Holiday Real Rivalry, where the most beloved holiday films go head-to-head in an epic battle for the title of Best Christmas Movie. Plus, you'll be entered to win some Christmas cash just for voting. That's the whole point. Vote now at 1620thezone.com. And hold on, there's more that pertains to us. Make your picks in the College Bowl Pick'em on 1620 The Zone. Head to 1620thezone.com now to make your picks in every upcoming College Bowl game, including the famous Potato Bowl in Boise through Friday, December 15th. Don't forget the Independence Bowl that nobody's going to on Saturday, at least from the Texas Tech contingent.
Hey, see what I got?
I saw it
here.
on in front of all the mailboxes.
So the mayor's Christmas card has arrived.
It's like an ice skating pirouette.
She is ice skating. She has got, we hope your skate through the season is filled with peace and joy.
Yeah.
Happy holidays, Mayor Gene Stothard and Dr. Kevin O'Rourke, grandsons Ray, Calvin, Max, and Theo.
I was hoping there'd be like a mountain and say Skeezen's greetings.
One of them was dressed in an Omaha Maverick hockey sweater.
Yeah, that boy.
But they're skating at the new rink down here for all the people on the TV.
She's got really good form there.
They're anti-Creighton?
I didn't know the mayor was a former skater.
Paid for by the Gene Stothard for Omaha committee.
They created it.
Okay. Sit on the back.
Well, never mind then. Yeah, I saw that. So it was placed over by the mailboxes, I think, as early as Wednesday. And I was going to take a picture and send it your way. I thought it'd be more exciting.
I got one personally last year. It's sent to my house.
Oh, it came to your house last year?
Sent to my house.
I remember that.
Gosh. That's weird. How does the mayor know my address?
Oh, she knows everything.
Oh.
Now it's the holiday season.
Yes.
It's officially started.
It's kind of I give it credit. That's a good card. That's a good card. Everybody think that?
Nice
Good card.
Yeah.
Response on the stream involving the mayor.
I just want to know. I mean, is that accurate depiction of her on ice skates though?
I do not know.
That's what I'd like to know.
You should ask her on this show
because it's very good form. Looks like she knows what she's doing, even though it's like a caricature.
Yeah, that's a nice card.
No,
you guys can talk hockey.
You got holiday warmth now. How are you feeling it?
That's a Texas.
I don't. You know what? She's been good to me.
Yeah.
Not that we agree on everything or anything, but she's very pleasant to me.
Yeah. I witnessed her introduce her husband to you at
she went out of her way
Award.
to introduce her husband to me, and all you guys had jokes.
I didn't have a joke. I was sitting there with a beer.
No,
I had a beer.
You guys,
two beers.
You guys like, hey, is that St. Louis Kevin?
I did not say it. You know what? Talk to the next show about that one.
How are those cards going to be this year?
No.
Talk to the next show about.
She's been fine. She's been fine to me. Wait till she finds out I'm not a Republican.
Oh
no, but she has a really nice card. That card's better than last year's card.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what was last year's card.
Now wait till
wasn't it also a caricature?
Wait till we get Craig Jasker, his card.
Oh, Craig Jasker, yes,
which is an epic card.
I haven't had my Craig Jasker
he's
holiday card for a couple years.
He's not as active. I have been very saddened there have not been more Andy Kendi and Sean Callahan.
Yes. Yes, it was usually and then usually got into Robin Washington as well.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened there.
A lot of the sweater vest and cheese crumble references as well. I haven't seen it as much.
Ask Andy this tomorrow.
All right. He'll be on the show. That'll come your way tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be some portaling and some news today. And there'll be a doubleheader of the NFL. Oh, and we'll get to Ohtani. We didn't get to Ohtani today.
Ohtani.
Dodgers needed a star. Man needed money. Marriage.
That worked out very well. And he's very familiar with the LA area.
That's what you call Cougars and Cubs.
New show?
That would be an awesome name for a midday show.
That would be Cougars and Cubs.
Cut Connor's show down to like 2 hours and do Cougars and Cubs for an hour. People have no idea. Is it a zoo show?
Yeah, what is this about?
It's like Tradio.
But what a great sports name for a show. Yeah. And you have an older, you have like this fabulous sports babe.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you have Nick Grimm.
Yeah. Nick. And she's got experience too.
We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6.